Recording in progress.
Indonesia is a country full of diversity with abundant natural and cultural wealth. It is home to the largest Muslim population in the world. As a country with the largest Muslim population in the world, Indonesia has great potential as well as challenges in developing a Sharia-based economic system. An economic system that focuses on the principles of justice and virtue in all of its processes. Justice and virtue for every party involved. A system that covers all aspects of people's lives, from industry to financial services and investment, from halal food and halal tourism to digital media, from halal pharmacy and cosmetics to Muslim fashion and more. The development of Islamic economy and finance has developed significantly in the last 2 decades and will continue to grow in line with the increasing Muslim population in the world. The KNEKS, or the National Committee for Islamic Economy and Finance, exists as a non-structural state strategic institution led directly by the President, serve as a mediator and catalyst in developing the Islamic economy in Indonesia. KNEKS is mandated to accelerate, expand, and advance the development of the Islamic economy to support national economic development. KNEKS, which was originally named KNKS, was a recommendation from the Master Plan for Indonesia Sharia Financial Architecture, formed through Presidential Regulation No. 91 of 2016 concerning the National Sharia Finance Committee, which later expanded its scope of work to become KNEKS through Presidential Decree No. 28 of 2020 concerning KNEKS. Having a vision to make Indonesia an independent, prosperous, and civilized Indonesia by becoming the world's leading Islamic economic center, KNEKS has 4 main strategies, namely strengthening halal value, strengthening Islamic finance, strengthening micro, small, and medium enterprises, and strengthening the digital economy. Indonesia Sharia Economic Master Plan was created as a common guideline for the Sharia economic system. As the world's largest Muslim country, Indonesia is ready to be the world's leading Sharia economic center.
Organization of Islamic Cooperation, also known as OIC, is an international organization that serves as a forum of cooperation among Muslim countries in various fields, with health as one of them. Vaccines are necessary in preventing a variety of infectious disease and unexpected turns of events such as pandemic, while other biotechnology products are used for treatment of numerous non-communicable diseases. Indonesia has been entrusted as OIC Center of Excellence for Vaccines and Biotechnology Products in December 2017 during the 6th session of ICHM in Jeddah. Supporting the Center of Excellence is Bio Farma, with its long experience in vaccine manufacture, having research and development capabilities and facilities. The facilities are equipped with the latest technology and equipment to facilitate research and development activities that extends from lab all the way to the pilot scale production. Research and development covers upstream, downstream, and adaptive control quality process for the needs of new product development, whereas pilot scale production serves as an upscaling process prior to entering commercial scale production. Bio Farma has numerous WHO pre-qualified products, thus enabling supply to various countries through UNICEF, with more than 50 OIC countries among them. With competent resources, this Center of Excellence shall strive to address global health issues, particularly relating to vaccines and biotechnology product capacity building among OIC member states. Knowledge and technology sharing will enhance the autonomy of OIC's member states in producing high-quality vaccines and biotechnology products, thus contributing to the well-being of the global community. Indonesia is ready to carry the task as Center of Excellence with Bio Farma, among others, as a site for collaboration. Together with OIC and Indonesia, Bio Farma strives to innovate to produce new vaccines and biotechnology products for the benefit of mankind.
Indonesia is a country full of diversity with abundant natural and cultural wealth. It is home to the largest Muslim population in the world. As a country with the largest Muslim population in the world, Indonesia has great potential as well as challenges in developing a Sharia-based economic system. An economic system that focuses on the principles of justice and virtue in all of its processes. Justice and virtue for every party involved. A system that covers all aspects of people's lives, from industry to financial services and investment, from halal food and halal tourism to digital media, from halal pharmacy and cosmetics to Muslim fashion and more. The development of Islamic economy and finance has developed significantly in the last 2 decades and will continue to grow in line with the increasing Muslim population in the world. The KNEKS, or the National Committee for Islamic Economy and Finance, exists as a non-structural state strategic institution led directly by the President, serve as a mediator and catalyst in developing the Islamic economy in Indonesia. KNEKS is mandated to accelerate, expand, and advance the development of the Islamic economy to support national economic development. KNEKS, which was originally named KNKS, was a recommendation from the Master Plan for Indonesia Sharia Financial Architecture, formed through Presidential Regulation No. 91 of 2016, concerning the National Sharia Finance Committee, which later expanded its scope of work to become KNEKS through Presidential Decree No. 28 of 2020, concerning KNEKS. Having a vision to make Indonesia an independent, prosperous, and civilized Indonesia by becoming the world's leading Islamic economic center, KNEKS has 4 main strategies, namely strengthening halal value, strengthening Islamic finance, strengthening micro, small, and medium enterprises, and strengthening the digital economy. Indonesia Sharia Economic Master Plan was created as a common guideline for the Sharia economic system. As the world's largest Muslim country, Indonesia is ready to be the world's leading Sharia economic center.
Organization of Islamic Cooperation, also known as OIC, is an international organization that serves as a forum of cooperation among Muslim countries in various fields, with health as one of them. Vaccines are necessary in preventing a variety of infectious disease and unexpected turns of events such as pandemic, while other biotechnology products are used for treatment of numerous non-communicable diseases. Indonesia has been entrusted as OIC Center of Excellence for Vaccines and Biotechnology Products in December 2017 during the 6th session of ICHM in Jeddah. Supporting the Center of Excellence is Bio Farma, with its long experience in vaccine manufacture, having research and development capabilities and facilities. The facilities are equipped with the latest technology and equipment to facilitate research and development activities that extends from lab all the way to the pilot scale production. Research and development covers upstream, downstream, and adaptive control quality process for the needs of new product development, whereas pilot scale production serves as an upscaling process prior to entering commercial scale production. Bio Farma has numerous WHO pre-qualified products, thus enabling supply to various countries through UNICEF, with more than 50 OIC countries among them. With competent resources, this Center of Excellence shall strive to address global health issues, particularly relating to vaccines and biotechnology product capacity building among OIC member states. Knowledge and technology sharing will enhance the autonomy of OIC's member states in producing high-quality vaccines and biotechnology products, thus contributing to the well-being of the global community. Indonesia is ready to carry the task as Center of Excellence with Bio Farma, among others, as a site for collaboration. Together with OIC and Indonesia, Bio Farma strives to innovate to produce new vaccines and biotechnology products for the benefit of mankind.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the international webinar on Halal, Pharmaceutical, and Healthcare Ecosystem Industry Forum. With me, Bayu Aditama, your host today. It is such an honor and also such a pleasure for me to be able to welcome you all in this forum this morning. First of all, thank you so much for joining us right on time, and we hope that all of us can get a lot of insights from today's forum. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, according to the State of the Global Islamic Economy Report 2022, that Muslim spend on pharmaceutical increased by 6.5% in 2021 and expected to grow by a further 6.7% in 2022. This number shows that the pharmaceutical market is poised for growth in the near future. The Indonesian Ulama Council MUI Fatwa Commission has announced that some of the COVID-19 vaccines are halal while others are not. Although the MUE has declared that the non-halal vaccines can be used by a Muslim because of the emergency conditions, there is urge to receive the halal vaccine. Therefore, KNEKS, under its role, takes initiative to conduct further discussions regarding the Sharia health industry, especially on the halal pharmaceutical and healthcare ecosystem industry through an international webinar. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this event will be a continued discussion of market preference research on Sharia competent hospitals that have been carried out by the National Committee for Sharia Economy and Finance, KNEKS, and independent consultants back in 2021. The International Webinar on Halal Pharmaceutical and Healthcare Ecosystem Industry Forum aims to provide information to the targeted participants about the importance of access to halal certified pharmaceutical products. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we start our forum this morning, I would like to inform that every participant who already filled in the link that is given to you in the chat box will get e-certificate from this event. Also, during the discussion, during the forum, you can also deliver your messages, your question to our speakers by scanning the QR code shown to you like this. This is the QR code of the Slido. You can just scan it and also deliver any question to our speakers. Also, we will share the link of the Slido to the chat box. All right. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's start our event, our forum this morning by praying all together to the God Almighty. Therefore, kindly be invited Bapak Rianda Al-Fatan to lead our prayer.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start today's webinar, it will be better for us if we pray to our God first, so He can give us beneficial knowledge from this webinar. Therefore, let us focus our hearts and our minds so that we can pray solemnly. In this event, prayers will be conducted in an Islamic way. For those of other religions, can pray according to their respective beliefs. Prayer begins. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma inna nas'aluka ilman nafi'a wa na'udzubika min ilmin la yanfa'. Oh Allah, we ask you for beneficial knowledge and we seek refuge in you from knowledge that is not beneficial. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azaban nar. Oh our Lord, grant us good in this world and good in the hereafter. Protect us from the torments of hellfire. Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas sami'ul alim. Oh Lord, accept our deeds from us. Indeed, you are all hearing, all knowing. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, we have done our prayer this morning. May the blessings of God be with us. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, let's hear the keynote speech which will be delivered by the Assistant to the Minister of Finance for Macroeconomy and International Finance, also as the head of the KNEKS Secretariat. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Honorable Bapak Wempi Saputra. Hello, Bapak Wempi. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, MC, for inviting.
It's good to see you, Pak. This morning, we would like to invite you to please deliver the keynote speech to the international webinar, to the international forum this morning. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Bapak Wempi Saputra.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Your Excellencies, Mr. Abdul Aliasar, Director of Halal Products Industry at KNEKS, Ms. Nila Amelia Mindasari, SA MBA PhD, Assistant Professor, School of Business and Management, Bandung Institute of Technology, Ms. Rajatul Akman Osman, CPA, Principal Partner and Halal Industry Strategist at Rosie Osman International PLC, Mr. Rahman Rustan, Operational Director, PT Bio Farma Persero, Dr. APT Ilma Nugrahani, S.Pharm, MSc, Associate Professor, Bandung Institute of Technology, Mr. Ongki Marta, VP Business Development, PT Jababeka, TBK, Dr. Marco Timan, Founder and CEO, LBB International, Dr. Nuruddin NH Ting, Managing Director, Barakah Taiwan Halal Hub, and distinguished guests and participants. Praise and gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has granted His blessing and mercy, so we may gather today in the Halal Pharmaceutical and Healthcare Ecosystem Industry Forum discussion to give awareness to the public about the importance of access to halal pharmaceutical and healthcare products. The proceeding of this event is expected to guide related parties in providing halal pharmaceutical and healthcare products and boosting the growth of Indonesia's global economy position. Ladies and gentlemen, as you might already be aware, Indonesia is currently taking mandate and responsibility as the G20 presidency. Our presidency comes at a challenging time with the uncertain global economic recovery. The G20 is vital in navigating the economic turbulence we face and leading the world back to strong, sustainable, inclusive, and balanced growth. We must preserve the G20, ensuring it remains intact, effective, and able to provide concrete solutions to global economic problems. In order to strengthen the global health architecture, the theme, the Come Together, Recover Stronger, carried out by Indonesia's G20 presidency, emphasized the importance of global cooperation in overcoming current conditions and preparing for a potential future pandemic. Global cooperation is significant given the fact that every nation has considerably varied capacities in addressing health threats. Indonesia, as G20 president, has set three priority agendas, one of which is tied to strengthening the global health architecture. Priorities on the health agenda will be achieved through coordination between finance and health policy in pandemic prevention, preparedness and response, PPR, as well as strengthening health system and global financing. In June 2022, the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Finance of Indonesia held the first G20 Joint Finance and Health Ministers meeting under the President of G20 Indonesia. The meeting was attended by G20 members, invitees, and international organizations. The meeting was held to discuss some of the progress that has been made by the Joint Finance and Health Task Force, including the development of the formation of the Financial Intermediary Fund, FIF, for preparedness, pandemic prevention and management. The second, to develop a coordination plan between finance and health for pandemic preparedness, prevention, and response. Regarding the new FIF financing mechanism, the G20 finance ministers and health ministers agreed on the need to a new multilateral financing mechanism dedicated to addressing the pandemic PPR financing gap. The G20 finance ministers and health ministers welcomed the progress made in establishing a financial intermediary fund, which was placed with the World Bank as trustee. A nearly $1.1 billion commitment has been secured for the FIF for the pandemic PPR. This figure includes contribution of $50 million from Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, the meeting also raised the issue of the spirit of inclusiveness in handling the global pandemic. Inclusiveness is the most important thing so that all efforts can be combined between Ministry of Finance and Health, and between developed and developing countries. Only then can we be effectively prepared to tackle the next global pandemic together. In just over 2 decades, health-related issues have become a centerpiece of global agenda. Global health has gained political prominence, driven mainly by the fear of global pandemics, where viruses have the potential to spread from one part of the world to another in a matter of hours. One recent example is the COVID-19 pandemic, which has increased pressure on health systems across the world, exacerbating existing resource and capacity constraints. The COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the system's risk posed by global health crisis, the potential for disrupting routine operations of health systems, and their wide-ranging effect on economic and social outcomes. The pandemic has demonstrated that not only those health systems perceived as weak as struggling, but also that many health systems that are well-funded and are considered much stronger have failed to respond quickly and effectively. Despite their differences, all health systems proved to be unprepared to meet the challenge of COVID-19, which rapidly overwhelmed their outbreak response capacities and severely affected the supply and demand of essential care, resulting in increased morbidity and mortality rates. At an international level, the pandemic has revealed significant weakness in the harmonizing policies and health practices. Nations around the world exhibited a lack of coordination in information exchange and in the procurement of health equipment and medicines, which affected the rollout and distribution of vaccines. Ladies and gentlemen, luckily for Indonesia, the government focuses on improving health and improving the COVID-19 vaccination program. As of June 2022, Indonesia's vaccination program almost reached its target in June 2022's national target, covering more than half of the and drug.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is an international webinar, and for sure that it is such a really normal thing during the webinar, yeah, because we are currently depending on the signal. Bapak WMP?
Sorry for missed it. Yes.
Okay.
May I continue?
Yes, sure, Bapak.
Yeah. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to continue. The halal industry opportunity is captivating. Multinational producers extend to obtain halal certification, indicating the industry's more extensive viability. Halal certifications is one of the essential aspects to assure products are halal in the blooming of the industry. Predominantly for Muslim consumer, the substance of the halal industry is the assurance that the products and services provided are halal and safe for consumption. Halal certificates guarantee that particular products have been rigorously scrutinized and declared in conformity with Sharia law, hence able not only to be consumed by Muslim buyers, but also inclusively for every people. Furthermore, competitive advantages are attained by business with halal certification. They incline to grasp the Muslim market in numerous countries. With the Muslim population, the largest Muslim population in the world, Indonesia has immense potential to drive the Islamic economy and halal industry development through halal pharmaceutical and healthcare ecosystem. From a health point of view, there is a silver lining. The COVID-19 pandemic has made people more aware of our health and well-being. This is a great potential for Indonesian pharmaceutical manufacturers to increase their production scale. This is in line with the State of Global Economy Report 2022, which stated that Muslim spending on pharmaceuticals increased by 6.5% in 2021 from US $93.5 billion to $100 billion, and is expected to grow by a further 6.7 in 2022 to $106 billion. Moreover, increasing Muslim spending on pharmaceuticals has been followed by growing concerns about the halal status of vaccine and other pharmaceutical products. With a significant rise in Muslim spending on halal products and services year after year, Muslims progressively require more businesses to accommodate their needs. Therefore, it is believed that the halal pharmaceutical market is poised for growth in the near future. Based on the need of Muslims for halal pharmaceutical and economy with the KNEKS program related to development of the Islamic health industry, KNEKS takes the initiative to conduct further discussion regarding the halal pharmaceutical and healthcare industry. To conclude, I encourage and welcome all participants from various stakeholders and participant view and knowledge on this rising issue, so we can contribute to strengthening the halal pharmaceutical and healthcare ecosystem as part of the global halal value chain and fostering international trade of halal products. Finally, I hope we will have productive dialogue and fruitful discussions during this remarkable event. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Bapak WMP. We are requesting you to remain with us just a moment because we are going to have a photo session all together. Therefore, we are also inviting all of our speakers and participants to please open your camera, and we are going to do several times of screenshots. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there are several pages. I will give the cue. Please give the best smile of yours. We are going to take picture all together in this forum this morning in 3, 2, 1, cheers. All right. Another one, maybe another pose. 3, 2, 1, cheers. Okay. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much also, Bapak Wempi Saputra. We truly understand that you are so busy, but then in the middle of your hecticness, Bapak Wempi still managed to come to our international forum, even though he's on the way. Maybe the signal is not really stabilized, but then we already hear the keynote speech from him. That is such a really honorable mention and also honorable moment that we can hear the keynote speech from Bapak Wempi. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, we are going to start with the opening discussion regarding the presentation of market preference on Syariah hospital in Indonesia, which will be delivered by Ibu Nila Armelia Windasari, SA MBA PhD. Hello Ibu Nila, good morning.
Good morning.
Wow, looking good Ibu. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Okay, Ibu, you may start your presentation during our opening discussion, ya, Bu. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ibu Nila Armelia Windasari, SA MBA PhD.
Okay, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, I'm going to share with you our latest finding research with the National Committee of Islamic Economy. And please allow me to share my PPT. So would the host allow me to share, please? Thank you. Okay, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me today for sharing our latest finding on the market preferences on Syariah hospital service in Indonesia. So this research is basically our research that we have with the National Islamic Finance Committee last year in 2021. So please allow me to open today's discussions with our latest research finding. I'm Nila Armelia Windasari from the School of Business and Management, Institut Teknologi Bandung. So what do we have on our research? Actually, it started with the problem that we have with the increased need for the health service. That we are actually facing the shifting on the public health behavior. If previously Indonesian people tend to have a self-medicating, and now it is shifting into visiting clinics and hospital. And therefore, there's also an increasing demand for Sharia health service. However, there is some problems that first, there is a very limited Sharia health service. Now we know that there is more than 3,000 hospitals we have in Indonesia. Some of them are branded as Islamic hospital. However, only less than 100 who are having an ongoing and having a Sharia competency certifications. So what makes those those Sharia competence hospital? What makes it different is the Sharia hospital is a hospital which provides the health service in accordance to the Sharia principle. And this needs to be certified under the rigorous certifications. There are more than 200 standards that has to be fulfilled. So therefore, in exploring the preferences of the Indonesian consumers, Indonesian patients for having the Sharia competence hospital, we are doing the series of studies, starting from the desk study, and then continuing with the interview with some hospital management. And then the third one, we're also doing the FGD with several patients who are currently ongoing in the some hospitals. And at last, we do the national survey using the conjoint survey to see how was the preferences. So as we know that in the Sharia hospital itself, Sharia hospital service ecosystem is not a standalone about the hospital itself. It is actually a network of service ecosystem that is supported by several other halal industries within. For example, for the Sharia hospital, it is also supported by the halal pharmaceutical and also medical devices to provide the pharmaceutical. And also it's provided by the halal food industries as a provider for the food. And other than that, we are also having the human capital, which is the physicians and the healthcare worker, who has to understand what was the standard for delivering the Sharia principle service. In the other hand, in developing the Sharia hospital, it should be also back supported by the Sharia financing, and as well as completed with some extended service. For example, nowadays we know that many other countries are starting the halal medical tourism and also halal hospitalities within the Sharia hospital ecosystems. So what was the finding? Our first finding on the interview result with the hospital management, that the hospital already obtained the certifications. First is there is an urgency for the standardizations, because Islamic hospital should not only have the label as an Islamic, that should also be certified with a certain standard. While on the other hand, they also need the regulatory support, for example, in terms of the taxes, both at drugs and medical equipment. So far are taxed in the hospital, so it should be billed to the patient. So to build this kind of conducive healthcare ecosystem, it should need a backup support for the regulatory, especially in terms of the taxations. Another thing is we have to acknowledge that there is still low awareness for the hospital operator itself and also for the physician itself. There should be some internal educations of the culture of the Sharia services. So service should be seen as an internal value. It should be instilled in the mindset of the staff, because to fulfill those more than 200 standards, there will be some additional work to the service department to meet with the standard. However, the good news is, among all of our hospital management, saying and stating there is a positive experiences after when they are fully applying the Sharia principle. Actually, their patients prefer Sharia hospital after they have those kind of good experiences because of their pleasant experience. So it is not only for Muslim, also for non-Muslim. They receive it very well and happy. It is supported by the satisfaction survey, the empirical data, because they feel more protected with the standard that we have in the Sharia hospital. So we continue with the FGD result with several different type of patients. There's patients that are, we interview the caregiver, we interview the patient who have routine visit to the hospital, that also having a medical checkup, and also for the patients who are in the chronic and terminal care. each of them has a different needs and requirements that should be fulfilled by the hospital. So at the third stage, we also did our conjoined survey. So this is a nationwide survey. We spread the survey all over Indonesia, Java, Sumatra, Kalimantan, and Sulawesi with the proportion samples, also with the proportion gender, so to minimize this bias among the genders. And this is what you can see from the economic status. So now let me allow you to pay more attention in the experience with the Syariah service. Among our participants, 32% actually have experienced the Syariah hospital. However, it is less than other Syariah service. For example, we talk about the Syariah banking, Syariah insurance. Many of our participants still familiar with that, other than the Syariah hospital. And you might see that there is also more than 25% of the participant, Indonesian consumer, that never used any of the Syariah service before, even though they're Muslim. So this is a big opportunity as the market of the Syariah hospital and also the halal ecosystem as a whole. So what was the result? So when we are asking one question, if you had the chance to select the hospital, what factors are important? Then most likely they're mentioning those 5 factors at the more than 90%. They're mentioning those 5. So this is not surprising. This is almost similar with the answers if we are asking about the general hospital selections. So how if we change the questions a little bit? So how if we ask them differently? We ask them to choose between the hard choice. So we see in the previous questions that most likely they are choosing the hospital, firstly because of the doctors, and the second one's due to the insurance coverage. So in this study, we want to focus on the Syariah aspect of the hospital. So it includes the naming and the brand name of the hospital, the familiarity. And then the second one is about the service quality. The third one is the infrastructures. The fourth one is focusing on the Syariah service. That is, how if we give them the spiritual guidance during the patient. This is a service that only given in the Syariah hospital. The second one is we give them the assurance that every food and pharmacies providing are halal. And then the third one is about the protections of the facilities sanctity and aura. This is only provided in the Syariah hospital service. And also we give them a questions to choose on the add-on service. That is the integrated transportation service, halal culinary tourism, and tourism and accommodations. That is also in halal. So when we're asking them, we ask them again, if you had the chance to select the hospital, what factor are the most important? But we give an additional information. Remember that you get the best doctor at the same cost, at the same coverage of insurance that you currently have. So it will limit the factors of choosing based on the doctors and also based on the insurance. And how was the result? This is surprising. So if we see here is actually most of people are prefer the hospital with their familiar names and if they're having the international certifications. So you see here, the green one is something that they're preferred. So there are more than about 17 profiles. And the green one is actually the preferred one, while the red one is the non-preferred one. So we can see here, so where's the positions of the Syariah hospitals? The Syariah certifications, it's actually in the middle and it's not seen in the extreme. What does it mean? It means that people is not being familiar with the Syariah certifications itself. Well, the second and third thing is almost consistent with the result. The last thing I want to discuss with you is actually the most preferred one is the people will choose the Syariah hospital who provide only halal food and pharmacies available. This is an important opportunities for the halal ecosystem, halal pharmacies, and healthcare ecosystem to grow in Indonesia. While the last one is integrated halal culinary and tourism is also preferred. So how we can see the result in the more aggregated things? We will see that in Indonesia still, we have to admit, the branding name of Islamic think doesn't create a positive brand images. However, familiarity and the guarantee from the certifications create the trust building. So it's become the first thing we have to pay attention, how we can give our customer assurance. And then the second one is the intangibilities, the service from the healthcare workers are the important things. But let me give you, there is an opportunity. The third thing is the Sharia service turns out the big preferences more than the infrastructure after the branding and service were met. So the Sharia service having a big opportunities in this part. So what was the key takeaways that we can have from this result on this research? The service excellence, that should be the first one. The second one is about the image that we are creating with the halal service. The image that we are creating with this halal ecosystem. Because from that image, it creates a word of mouth, and people are much more believe in the word of mouth in Indonesia when it comes to the providing the service. The last one is the targeting and the opportunities of the Sharia hospital. So what will be our recommendations? The first one is, we know that from the empirical data, there is an increased number of visitors after the hospital gets Sharia certifications. So we should educate more hospital operator regarding the benefit of having Sharia certifications. And after they get certified, they have to maintain the quality of the service. The second one is, it is important for us to introduce our standard of having those Sharia competencies to be a comprehensive certification system that applies globally, not only in Indonesia. And I believe in Indonesia, we can be the pioneer of having this kind of certification system. The third one is, this is important for us having the forum today, is about the integrations with other Sharia industry sectors. Currently, the halal medical tourism is not considered necessary at the moment. However, we can build the community that already sees the health service as a primary needs. So this integration is important to improve the positive image of Sharia healthcare and Sharia industry as a whole. And at last, inclusivity of Sharia health service should be the common principle, and we should promote it as a universal value, that it's good to maintain chastity, it's good to have the halal food, it's good to maintain the aura, so that we can make the service to be more inclusive, and we should have the standard of the service, the representations of doctor and non-Muslim staff in the Sharia hospital. So last thing for me is, that's basically, everyone can download the full report here that KNEKS and us have provided and have reported. So thank you for your attentions. Let's have a fruitful discussion today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Ibu Nila, for all of your findings and also presenting all of the opportunities and also recommendation. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, please give appreciation for Ibu Nila. As mentioned before, that there is increase of the awareness on medical and clinical health treatment from the people of Indonesia, and also there is the increase for the demand of Sharia health services, and also there are a lot of new opportunities for Sharia hospital. Therefore, we have to discuss a lot further regarding these issues so that we can also discuss regarding the recommendations and also how to maximize, how to use this opportunity for the goodness of the halal industry. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start our discussion this morning, but then I will also remind you once again that you can also participate in this discussion by delivering your question to our speakers. You can send your question by scanning the barcode of the Slido as is shown to you, this one. Yeah, we will also share the link of the Slido to you so you can deliver your question from the Slido. And also we are going to have two sessions of discussion. The first one will be about the key drivers in sustaining the development of halal pharmaceuticals. And then right after the break, we are going to have the second session, which will be discussing about the investment opportunities in the halal pharmaceutical and healthcare ecosystem. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the panel discussion will be led by our moderator, the one and only, the Director of Halal Product Industry at KNEKS. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome the Honorable Bapak Afdal Aliasar.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Your Excellencies, Mr. Wempi Saputra, Assistant to the Minister of Finance for Macroeconomy and International Finance, also Head of the Secretariat of KNEKS, National Committee for Islamic Economy and Finance, Republic of Indonesia. The honorable speakers and distinguished guests and all participants, good morning and welcome to the International Webinar, Halal Pharmaceutical and Healthcare Ecosystem Industry Forum. Allow me to introduce myself, Afdal Aliasar, Director of Halal Product Industry, National Committee for Islamic Economy and Finance, KNEKS. I will be the moderator in today's webinar event. We heard from Ibu Nila is very interesting research about the customer preference on Syariah, healthcare industry, and also the pharmaceutical industry. So today we will continue the discussions. As we know, Islamic economy, not only in Indonesia, but all around the world, has increased significantly in the last 2 decades. One of the important sectors of Islamic economy is a halal industry. Research says that Muslim consumers spend more than $2 trillion across food, pharmaceutical, cosmetic, fashion, travel, media, recreation, and all the sectors, all of which are impacted by Islamic faith-inspired ethical consumption's need. Specifically for the pharmaceutical, the spending is about 100 billion per year. It's expected also to grow 6.7% annually. So this is very, very interesting topic. Today we will discuss about key drivers in sustaining the development of halal pharmaceutical. Okay, we would like to welcome our honorable speakers. First, Ms. Rosie Akmam Osman, CPA, Principal Partner and Halal Industry Strategist at Rosie Osman International PLT. Assalamualaikum, Ms. Rosie.
Waalaikumsalam, Pak
How are you?
Abdal. Apa kabar? Alhamdulillah, I'm good.
Alhamdulillah.
I hope you are too.
Thank you to welcome in our webinar, Ms. Rosie.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yeah. Ms. Rosie is a pioneer member of Halal Professional Jakim Malaysia, Technical Committee for Halal Pharmaceutical, Department of Standard Malaysia, Ministry of Health Malaysia respectively, appointed subject matters expert for DSM Working Group for the world first ISO level standard on halal pharmaceutical and halal medical device. She has a very long career in the pharmaceutical industry, General Manager, Group Halal and Government Relations, Chemical of Company Malaysia Berhad, Business Manager, CCM Pharmaceutical Berhad, Finance Manager, CCM Chemical Berhad, Auditor KPMG, and contributes to numerous domestic and international halal-related events and publications. Without any further ado, Ms. Rosie, the first session, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Pak Abdal. Let me share my presentation.
We have around 50 minutes for the presentation. Please, Ms. Rosie.
Okay, thank you so much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammadin asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. I'm seeing a different slide here. I'm wondering why. Because I'm sharing my slide, but it's not the slide that I have. It's the, hang on a second.
Oh, Ms. Rosie, can we help to present the slide for you? Okay.
Okay, alhamdulillah. All right. I start again. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi zidni ilma. O my Lord, enhance us in knowledge. Assalamualaikum once again, and thank you very much, Pak Afdal, and also for KNEKS for this invitation for me to share my experience and knowledge in my journey in Halal, which was professionally based on my accountancy profession. The first 20 years of my experience starts with accountancy as being inspired by the two accountants on our self 24/7. And after that 20 years experience, I was entrusted by my former company I used to work with, a chemical company of Malaysia, to spearhead Halal for the company and consequently also for the nation. And therefore, I was involved in both national and international teams. And the fact that I was also in the senior leadership, I got the opportunity to have the Lean Six Sigma Belt certification. So Halal and Thayyiban is my lifelong passion, and this journey I would like to acknowledge and appreciate everybody who has been involved in this journey so far. And I also would like to appreciate your attendance here, and I would welcome your questions based on my presentation later, because it will increase my knowledge further. So this is what I'll be sharing today, my key outline of my presentation. But first of all, I would like to also bring up the fact that Halal is like a always receive a mixed reaction when it's being mentioned to both Muslims and non-Muslim alike. It's an Arabic word, which means permissible, but it doesn't receive all the positive vibes when you are mentioning the other non-English words to others, like mentor, guru, sifu, and kaizen. Because of this misconception, when I presented in 2018 at the World Halal Summit, you can see the imbalance between fear, panic, opposition, rejection when it's not halal, and on the other side, there's a lackadaisical, in Malaysia we call it tidak apa attitude, when we come to wanting to use halal products. So, this imbalance gives rise to the concern among Muslims, even up to the recent COVID-19 pandemic. So, to me, our knowledge is important because, as rightfully Allah stated in Surah Al-Kahf, how can you have patience in matters which you do not have comprehensive knowledge? So let's learn, unlearn, and relearn together in this webinar. Halal, stepping back so that we are all in the same mindset, I'd like to explain, use this Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 88, as my guide, because to me this surah ayat give a lot of explanation towards the whole halal economy. Allah has stated, consume of the lawful and good things, halalan thayyiban. Halalan thayyiban, the word is conjoined. Halal, tayyib, halalan thayyiban. There's no wow or the word and in between, because it's like a twin word. So it's not only lawful and permissible, but it should also be good, wholesome, that encompass the aspects of safe, effective, quality, and hygienic. In this ayat, Allah also said consume. So that means it's eat, drink, ingest, and buy goods and services. And therefore, halalan thayyiban is beyond food and beverages. It involves everything, pharmaceuticals, and also the Syariah compliant health services. Allah also said sustenance in this ayat, which means to make people or keep them strong and healthy. And this is in line with Maqasid Syariah, the universal principles of preserving faith, life, intellect, progeny, and property. And with this pandemic experience that we had, property also means livelihood. We lost a lot of source of income during this pandemic. And the most important aspect of this ayat is this last part. Allah said, be careful of your duty in whom you believe. Who is you in Allah that is mentioned here? Are the stakeholders within the ecosystem. And he stated, be careful. So that means we must do our work in this halalan ecosystem, halalan Thayyiban ecosystem with full integrity, excellence, and sustainability, because it will be benefit to and for the ummah at large. So the key consideration, as a step back in halal certification, just to bring everybody on the same level platform, the key consideration is the subject, the process, and the source. Where the source, you need to question, are the sources of halal material, or the sources of materials halalan Thayyiban? And in the process, is there any halal threats, risk, or contamination, cross-contamination, mix-up, or even adulteration? I'll give you a short, simple case study where the subject is processed water. People used to laugh or question why Malaysia put halal certification on bottled water, and I believe even in Indonesia now, there's a halal certificate, a halal logo on the bottled water. Why? When the source is halal, is Allah's creation direct. Water is Allah's creation, is direct. But have you considered the Tayyib side? Is it approved by health authority for its safety? Is it approved for the water or local authorities for the legal access to it? And in the process, is there any materials that can contaminate? So an assurance from a competent authority, halal, like for example, Halal Indonesia logo being posted on the bottle, give assurance, a third-party assurance that the manufacturers complies with all these requirements. So the overall concept of halal certification is that halal certified products will not only benefit Muslim but also everyone, because of it has the underpinning verification of the Thayyiban aspect of safe product effectiveness, quality and hygienically processed, wholesomeness, and this is a value add, a kaizen to the existing ISO, GMP, HACCP certification. So now, how does the Thayyiban aspect goes with pharmaceuticals? It's already embedded, the Thayyiban aspect is already embedded in pharmaceuticals because pharmaceuticals is comprising of medicines, the prescribed over-the-counter and health supplements. So anything that is registered as pharmaceuticals have undergone research and development, good ingredient sourcing, quality ingredient sourcing, product manufacture is goodly processed with SOP, warehousing also has SOP, and good customer management. So things that we can learn from pharmaceutical industry that is similar to halal certification is that it's highly regulated, it has good manufacturing practice, and there's pharmaceutical quality system. And one thing also that is common in, between pharmaceuticals and halal is the misconception about alcohol. You know, during the COVID-19, we read about people drinking hand sanitizer because they think it's the alcohol that is in the intoxicant. So I'm sharing with you an infographic made by the late Professor Zulkifli to show clearly the differentiation between intoxication and industrial alcohol. So other things that we can take into consideration from the pharmaceutical industry into the halal certification is the existence of pharmacopoeia. I understand Indonesia already has the Indonesian pharmacopoeia. So let's upgrade it to halal pharmacopoeia. And then there's a pharmaceutical quality by design. That means the halal or the quality is inbuilt. So let's have halal inbuilt into the system. Because halal certified pharmaceuticals means it's the marriage of pharmaceutical quality system that's value add with the halal assurance system. And this is actually Kaizen concept. Why is it halal, but it's not necessarily halal certifiable for pharmaceuticals or even some of the items in the food production? Because even though like liquid vitamins of A, D, E, K comes from natural sources of plant, but in order for it to be in part put into say, powder form, it has to go into these rate limiting steps and filled with gelatin so that it can be like powdery form. So then this gelatin may be sourced from non-halal animals. And because of them not being able to be halal certifiable, that's where the misrepresentation or misperception of what halal pharmaceutical is all about, right? So the concept of informed decision is important. Informed meaning having knowledge about information or something that is important to you, and decision is the choice that you make about something after considering a lot of possibilities. And in order to get these possibilities, you need to know there's availability of choices. You need to consult expert advice. You need, for informed choices in halal pharmaceuticals, you need to consider the maqasid Syariah before you make that informed decision. Because through these informed decisions, you'll be able to balance between this fear, panic, and opposition, indifference. And this indifference is also found in the research done as presented by Ibu Nila, but she did not present this one because she was concentrating on the first 5. But halal pharmaceutical also, or halal haram product was also not considered that much in the survey. Because as you can see from COVID-19 pandemic, all this, the fear or rejection about COVID, about the vaccine affects life and livelihood. We need to contain the pandemic. So another aspect is mutual respect. This is the quote from my former boss, Mr. Leonard Arif, that if you as a manufacturer want me as a patient to take your drugs as long-term, you should respect me as a patient. You should respect my belief and take consideration that halal is going to be part of my decision. It has to be a big respect, mutual respect on both sides. So with informed decision and mutual respect to make sure that there are availability of choices to make halal vaccines or halal medicine, you also should need to converge the Sharia science and technical and muamalat together with public-private partnership to get all the halal pharmaceuticals ready, availability of choices ready for people to make informed decision. Another part that I managed to find out prior to this is that Indonesia already has all this first on the biopharmaceutical product already. But I would recommend that you incorporate it into the SMIC technical upcoming draft on halal pharmaceutical, so that you can further enhance your center of excellence, being the first of the halal biologics pharmaceuticals. So who are the stakeholders? I've presented this in that same World Halal Summit, comprised of the consumer, the halal industry itself, and then the influencers, where additionally for the industry, there's also for pharmaceuticals extended to hospitals, the apothec and other healthcare professionals. And with the pandemic situation, the importance of the government and regulator to facilitate and coordinate public-private partnership, the halal compliance, and also the halal aspect, the halal ecosystem is quite key to coordinate the whole process. Another aspect that also surfaced very strongly during the pandemic is the importance of media broadcast, be it the official channel, the social media has gained prominence, and professionals are becoming influencers too. So this is where I also see where the hospital apothec and other healthcare professionals can play a part as a responsible stakeholders. So which role is yours, my dear participants? Because overall, it is our duty, because we matter. Together, we can get everybody to achieve more in order to sustain our life and livelihood. As important as what Ibu Nila mentioned just now, knowledge will lead to patience, which will then lead to respect so that people can make informed decisions. So let's ensure that every single link that we make in this chain of the halal ecosystem, halal pharmaceutical ecosystem, is perfectly calculated. Let's do our job perfectly to pursue Allah's pleasure. Our work is our ibadah. My work is my ibadah, and I hope yours too. Thank you so much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. MashaAllah, it's a very, very interesting presentation, Ms. Rosie.
Thank you.
I take some note about the informed conscience, mutual respect, and also the stakeholder must be facilitated and coordinated by the governments and all the participants.
Yes, definitely.
And also media is very, very important.
Definitely. Okay. Social media, of course.
Yeah. Okay, all participants, if you have a question, you can send the question to the Slido. Now we come to the next speaker. Please allow me to welcome Mr. Muhammad Rahman Rustam, Operational Director, Biopharma. Assalamualaikum, Pak Rahman.
Waalaikumsalam, Pak Afdal.
How are you?
Nice to see you this morning. Yeah, I'm fine.
So, Pak Rahman di Bandung?
Oh yes, Pak. In the factory, Pak.
In the factory, okay. Thank you to join our webinar, Pak Rahman. Yeah. Before we start our session, I want to introduce Pak Rahman. He began his career with Agency for the Assessment and Application of Technology, BPPT Jakarta, and Organon Indonesia as Co-Nobel, a multinational pharmaceutical company based in Netherlands. He continued to grow in some strategic position at Biopharma, such as President Directors in 2018, 2019, Marketing Director 2017, Corporate Secretary 2008 until 2017, Senior Manager PPIC, Quality Assurance System Manager, Production Manager and Formulating, Filing and Packaging. Upon his career, Pak Rahman was one of the Indonesia delegates for World Health Assembly in 2012 until 2018, WHO, Geneva, Switzerland, and delegates for Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, Health Minister Conference, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, in several years, starting 2013, 15, 17, and also 19. Pak Rahman also a lecturer of pharmacy practitioners, UNPAD, Mars, UMI, Research Executive Advisor, SBM ITB. He also served as the expert of PP Indonesian Pharmacists Associations. Pak Rahman, we just heard from Ms. Rosie about halal and also the importance for the halal industry in pharmaceutical. I think your session has also your experience and the producer from the halal pharmaceutical industry. I think it's very important for us to get some insight from you. So the time is yours, Pak Rahman.
Yeah, thank you, Excellencies, Bapak WMP Saputra, Pak Afdal Aliasar, Ibu Nika Wilandari, and Honorable Speaker, distinguished participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Asyhadu alla ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarikalah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allow me to share my presentation. Yeah, first of all, we would like to express our gratitude, especially to the organizing committee, KNEKS, for inviting us to join this important conference. to share our perspective on key drivers in sustaining the development of halal pharmaceuticals. What are the challenges and opportunities in preparing the pharmaceutical industry for entering halal market? Pharma business characteristics are highly regulated, scientific, capital intensive, and a fragmented market. So it's high cost, high risk, and long-term activity. So therefore, it will be more beneficial for the Ummah to consider halal aspects starting from R&D stage. In Indonesia, we face that more than 90% raw materials are imported, mostly from China and India, some from Korea, United States, and European countries. The pharmaceuticals could be divided into two main groups, chemicals and biologicals. The challenges of biotechnology products are complex, unstable, compared with conventionals. The trend of future medicine will be dominated by biological, consists of vaccines to improve immunity to a particular disease. Biosimilar, it is a biotechnological product that it is proved to be comparable to an already approved reference product in quality, non-clinical and clinical evaluation. For example, therapeutic protein. The blood derivative product, medicinal products based on blood constituents, in particular such as albumin, coagulating factor, and immunoglobulin of human origin. The pharmaceuticals derived from biological sources will be trained as a future medicine. A new biotech product in the R&D pipeline will face a complex processes and need to fulfill several stages. The vaccine of biotechnology products candidate should pass the preclinical test to animal, clinical phase 1 for safety, phase 2 for immunogenicity, phase 3 for efficacy with 4 subjects. Starting from lab scale to licensure, the process could take more than 10 years for development. That's why it will be not easy to change one component of pharmaceutical or biotechnology products once the candidate has passed all the tests requested. The source of active and pharmaceutical ingredients could be provided from animals, humans such as blood products, plants, microorganisms, or synthetic chemicals. This diagram shows us there are several critical points in pharmaceutical ingredients in terms of halal requirements, particularly animals and human derives. But not only porcine, the materials comes from bovine or avian. If the processes are not based on Syariah, we cannot say that the materials are halal. For raw materials, supporting data requested commonly are certificate of analysis, flow of process manufacture in vendor facilities, and statement of porcine free. But our questions are, is it produced in dedicated facility, means no mixture equipment with other non-halal materials? Do the supplier implemented the cleaning validation? Usually, supplier has a certificate of analysis, but not familiar yet with halal certification. Since the halal standard for pharmaceutical and biological has not yet established like food and beverages, countries in OIC region need to find the solution for any standard harmonization. We have discussed in our association in OIC Vaccine Manufacturer Group, and with some institutions such as International Halal Accreditation Forum in Dubai. The important things that people will not doubt to take a medicine and vaccine for improving quality of life because the vaccine and medicine are emergency case. During the Islamic Conference of Ministry of Health of OIC member states in 2017 in Jeddah, Indonesia is elected as a center of excellence on vaccines and biotech products in OIC regions. The COA are launched in 2018 in Jakarta. Spirit of OIC Center of Excellence is to strengthen the collaboration among OIC member states in terms of R&D collaboration and technology transfer to other brothers and sisters in OIC region. And among the members of OIC vaccine manufacturer groups, which Biopharma is elected as a vice chairman of this organization, one of the program of OIC VMG is capacity building, sharing knowledge, sharing know-how and experiences, conducted workshop for members and achieving self-reliance in vaccines and biotechnology production and availability. The strategic role of vaccine manufacturer in Indonesia are to fulfill the national immunization program. Since Biopharma had been recognized by WHO, its excess capacity could be supplied to other countries to support the immunization program, especially in emerging countries and other OIC member states, such as Saudi Arabia and other regions. There are more than 100 vaccine manufacturers around the globe, but less than 30 manufacturers are qualified by WHO. Alhamdulillah, Biopharma is one of the manufacturers recognized by WHO. Starting 1997, vaccine manufactured by Biopharma are qualified by WHO. It's polio and measles, and followed by other viral and bacterial vaccines. Until 2019, there are 14 products are qualified by WHO and has been distributed to more than 150 countries. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, in this slide, allow us to deliver our recommendations from industrial perspective. For the short term, we suggest our pharma industry to review their existing products. Review which is including all raw materials as component and supporting, also supporting process of production starting from upstream to downstream. The facilities utilized and the system and policy of the company based on halal assurance system. The company evaluate and register existing products once it is clear. As a midterm program, we recommend that halal should be designed from the beginning of research. Using free animal origin or at least non-porcine materials should be set as company policy. Therefore, halal aspects should be set from the design. As one of the important part of this presentation, allow us to deliver the collaboration model. Halal aspects should be considered starting from research stage, involving academician or research institute, government and regulators, business such as industry and ulama should be involved starting from the design. Halal by design are the important things. The last slide are conclusions. Complexity of research and development of biotechnology production technology, the consortium starts from R&D stage, academia, industry, government, community, and ulama. Halal by design is very important as well as quality by design. The joint research among research institute and pharmaceutical industry to provide raw materials and halal medicine. The majority of pharmaceutical raw materials are still imported, so the cross-sectoral coordination contribute to halal criteria of medical products and vaccines. And the global forum to identify technology progress, the resolution to determine halal criteria in OIC member countries. I thank you for your kind attention. I stop my slide. Terima kasih. Syukran jaziran. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Over to the moderator.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Pak Rahman. This is very important information. Pak Rahman mentioned that Indonesia is a center of excellence on vaccine and biotech product from the OIC countries organization. I think halal by design is very, very critical because vaccine production takes very, very long periods. So when we start from the beginning, from the research to get halal vaccine, I think with halal by designs, we can produce more product with halal certified in the future. Thank you, Pak Rahman.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
Next, for the third speakers in the sessions, I would like to welcome Dr. Apoteker Ilma Nugrahani MSI. Ibu Ilma, Head of Halal Study Center, Bandung Institute of Technology. Assalamualaikum, selamat pagi Bu Ilma.
Thank you very much, Abdul, for very nice invitation.
Yeah, so this morning we have two guests from Bandung, Pak Rahman and also Bu Ilma.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you to join our webinar, Bu Ilma.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to join in this very honorable event to talk with a very expert from biotechnology.
I'd like to introduce Bu Ilma to other participants. Bu Ilma is undergraduate from School of Pharmacy, ITB at 1992, pharmacist profession, apothecary, 1994, a magister from Pharmacy Faculty, Indonesian University, doctoral again from School of Pharmacy, ITB in Bandung Institute of Technology with sandwich research with chemistry department of Tokyo Institute of Technology. Bu Ilma is the head of Halal Study Center, ITB and School of Pharmacy Library. She has written more than 100 manuscripts about health, pharmacy, analysis methods, development, and educations. So we have Ms. Rosi from the Halal Concept, Pak Rahman, Halal product producers, and also Bu Ilma as a pharmacist. So time is yours, Bu Ilma, please.
Thank you very much for Pak Abdal for very nice introduction and invitation. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillahirabbil alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share my presentation entitled Supporting Pharmaceutical and Healthcare Industry Ecosystem from our Green Campus ITB or Bandung Institute of Technology. First of all, I would like to introduce Halal Study Center ITB, Bandung Institute of Technology. It's a multidisciplinary group of experts, includes members from several faculty of ITB. There are School of Pharmacy, and FTI, FMIPA, SKPTK, SITH, Business and Management Study, and etc. School. We study and develop the regulatory science and technology of halal produce under the coordination of LPIT or Lembaga Ilmu Pengetahuan and Teknologi, or in English Institute of Science and Technology Development of ITB. And just information that HSC or Halal Study Center ITB activities nowadays, we do the dry experiment, wet experiment, and also of course the course and a training and some webinar and FGD performance. In dry experiment, we do data collection and prototype development, and also study on regulation, planning, tourism, and Syariah Ekonomi and Finance study by SPM and SPPK, compiling information about the regulation, critical points, and non-halal matters. And also in that experiment, we try to develop halal material, process, and product development to substitute the non-halal substance. Next, we also develop any halal authentication analysis method, and we have aspired to establish the Halal Center Laboratory. We hope that the dream will come true. Public service and human research development also we integrate with the BPJPH to train PPH or Halal Product Assistant Certification Training and also halal auditor and assessor for LPH. And we held the halal course regularly, and in our plan we also will perform the summer school on September in this year, and beside webinar and FGD. Regarding the pharmaceutical and health product concern, let us see the website of BPOM, or Food and Drug Monitoring Agency of Republik Indonesia, and KNEKS. In today, we can find that there are many registered products, included drug, here is food, cosmetic, supplement, herbal, drug, and healthcare products. You can see that the cosmetics is the most item from the registered BPOM, and followed by food, and then drug, and after that herbal medicine. I mean, that's after food, it is followed by healthcare product, and then here drug and herbal medicine, and last is supplement. I think in some discussion that it's cosmetic, also it's almost similar with healthcare product to manage and to produce and to, but they have a different way to what is it, registration. That's TKRT, or the healthcare product must be submitted to KNEKS, and while cosmetic to BPOM. And we also can check here that the percentage and number domestic and non-domestic product of market tourism for healthcare product is about 75% is domestic product, and this is a very big market opportunity, I think. And the remaining 26% is taken by imported product. If the halal regulation has been established, the contribution of the domestic product, I think it should be able to compare and be increased significantly. So it is, I think, it's an opportunity for us. And please check the mandate of timeline of BPJBH for the certification halal certification. That's to ensure legal rights, convenience, safety, and health of the products, halal products, that must be fulfilled or finished to about 1 million halal certification from 20 with the various of the time target. But it just I would like to remind that we only have maybe 4 until 7 years to finish all of the halal certification with so many products. So on the other side, that we can see that many critical points are included in the route of production and until dispensing, until the patient consumption for a drug and for the healthcare product. It's every step may become a critical point, from the raw materials, from environment, which is processed by adding by additive excipient and by using some kind of machine and environment, until the packaging and how to distribution and dispensing to the patient and consumer. It has potential to contact with non-halal product or non-halal method. So here, BPJBH and BPOM and KNEKS, we do ensure the safety, quality, and halality of the product to produce the halal employee product. And now, from our experience, actually, the halal authentication by end testing on halal inspection to the finished product is less efficient and effective compared to the something that have been firstly planned well to produce the halal product. Why? Because in the work of authentication by testing, the time, man, region, instrument, methods is very high cost. So we promote as similar with the previous presenter, that halal with design is better to be followed with the definition as the a systemic and scientific approach to designing the development of halal product that begins with planning and selecting halal materials and processes under halal management and according to the Syariah, or in the other sentence is better prevention than cure. So well planning and designing are more efficient than testing. It's I hope that all agree about this opinion. So what is that? Halal-based design stands for pharmaceutical and healthcare products to produce the halal and tayyib, halal and good quality product. Firstly, identify the halal product profile. Second, halal product ensuring systems must be established, and the halal manufacturing process, which also according to the good manufacturing process that have been said, it is maybe for Indonesia following the CPOB or good manufacturing process and Pharmacope of Indonesia, and analyze all substance used by risk and critical point assessment. Next, selecting and sorting the halal materials for the formulation and preparation, production facility and quality, monitoring to about their halality, and of course the comprehensive strategy to elaborate the halal ensurement system and GMP must be conducted. And halal certification submission finally to BPJPH that assist with LP POM MUI, and that's all to produce the to release the product to the market. Concern about the potential of the non-halal product with the 3 haram materials that must be avoided. Concern about be careful of the biotechnology and fermentation products such as vaccine, serum, stem cells, cell tissue culture, genetic engineering product, etc. That may use the non-halal media growth, and also the synthesis compound which use solvent and suspected non-halal source reagents. And we also must aware about the nanomedicine and nanocosmetic, which can enter the bloodstream systematically. And of course, a lot of excipients and additives that still imported from the overseas countries, such as gelatin, suspending agent, emulsifying agent, etc., and as well as packaging materials that may contain at least 3 haram materials that are pork, any parts of pig, and comar, and dead animals. And what the challenge and opportunities? Halal by design of pharmaceutical product require careful supervising and halal management in all steps. And in our opinion, I think Indonesia is the biggest Muslim population country and is very rich with natural and herbal raw materials. So, and has many experts in basic production development. It is very potential to be a big producer instead of consumer only. And key solve problem and opportunity of view at once, please support the domestic product development. Besides, we must provide the big data to integrate the information about the regulation, raw material sources, chain resources, processes, instrumentation, human resource, product, and market, and so on to be accessed easily to next to we can be integrated, developed together, and maybe can start up initiation for the young blood nowadays. It's a very, very like to support over to develop the startup industry. Okay, so potential pharmaceutical and healthcare development resource from ITB, we offer the multidisciplinary expert From School of Pharmacy, we have 4 departments: the pharmacochemistry, biological chemistry, pharmacology, and pharmacy formulation biotechnology. That, of course, is very close to and relation of the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry. And also we have SIPH or biology technology and chemistry department, and also STAY, electricity information faculty, also machine faculty, that may together arrange something to build the ecosystem of the healthcare and pharmaceutical industry. And also maybe for the finance and ecosystem, finance and economical study and extra. And we also have some facilities of laboratories in every faculty, of course. And in the future, we have goals to make a halal center laboratory. And what the kind of what the products of my campus was, from dry experiment. Recently, we did we make a prototype to solution for selecting halal products such as fruit, food, drug, cosmetic, health, and household supplies that integrate with existing online market data and BPJPH from BPJPH and UI data. It is a big one that more than 200 million. 200 million active internet users in Indonesia nowadays. And again, start or support or pushed by pandemic situation, the transaction for online healthcare and cosmetic products were recorded to increase extremely. For example, antiseptic class transaction increased by more than 500% in the last year. But you're not aware maybe that halal and non-halal products are mixed in the online market. So consumer need guidance to search and to shop the halal product. We named the application as Halal too. This can be searched in the internet. And the last year, one of group of our students won the competition of halal innovation. And for that experiment, we do halal product development, such as halal vaccine media development collaboration with Bio Pharma, halal anti-sclerosis product development by from Herbal, and rapid test development and so on. And we also develop halal analysis method for halality check, vibration using continuing the established methods such as vibrational spectroscopy, PCR, and chromatography. And the new one of methods is solid thermal analysis and diffractometry. Still in development, but I think it can be used as an alternative methods. And we also perform course training and webinar, such as a regular course every semester and year, and international summer school about halal in coordination with the School of Pharmacy. And by mandate from BPJPH, we perform training and works to provide pendamping proses product halal or halal production process assistance to support the target of about 100,000 PPH by the government. And LPH assessor, also we provide the LPH by certification of assessor to assess LPH, the new LPH, or lembaga pemeriksa halal from that is growing fastly because to support the halal certification. And in planning, we will also perform the training for penyelia halal that can work support in industry. And in planning also, we would like to follow our certification of halal auditor to support some LPH that's growing fastly in recently. And then here are our webinar that have been performed to collect, to update the information and ideas. So as the conclusion, we performed research, also education, training, and webinar. And note please that integrative data is a very crucial point to support the research and also the development of the pharmaceutical and healthcare product. And halal-based design will be more effective and efficient than testing or authentication and inspection. And we provide competent experts and ideas to support halal pharmaceutical and healthcare industry development. We are open to kinds of collaboration and do not hesitate to contact us. Finally, thank you very much for LPIT TV, PPMI TV, BRAIN, their industry and collaborators, and especially for KNEKS. Thank you so much, Pak Afdal. I think that's all.
Okay, thank you, Bu Ilma, and also congratulations for the winning for ITB Halal Center and some competitions. Yeah. Okay, all the participants, now we are entering the discussions part, question and answers. If you have a question, please send to the Slido, also maybe put on the chat on the Zoom. But before, I want to ask some questions to the speakers. My question to Ms. Rosie. Ms. Rosie, as we heard from the other speakers, from Pak Rahman, Bu Ilma, halal by design approach is very critical. I think all the speakers agree about that, halal by design approach. So if we look at from the angle from the governments, what do you think, how governments can involve in these collaborations? What are the roles of the governments? Maybe from your experience in other countries and also maybe in Malaysia, the roles of governments to ensure the halal by design approach is working.
Thank you very much for the question, and thank you, Bapak, for the introducing that concept in more detail, Bapak Rahman, for introducing that concept in more detail just now, explaining about it. In Malaysia, our latest standards for halal pharmaceuticals, the MS 2424, 2019, has already emphasized on what we call it as halal built-in. So it is the halal quality by design. We call it halal built-in, inspired by the almarhum Professor Zahri Ismail. I'm sure some of the Indonesian lecturers are familiar with him. Alhamdulillah. So this is one of his contribution and what do you call it? Forever for us, his amal jariah. So in terms of this halal built-in, it is not only at the part of the processing that we are considering in these standards. What Pak Rahman has shared just now is from R&D right to the end in terms of processing. But halal by design should also start from the management. Internally, the stakeholders, internal stakeholders will start from the management. The top directors, the top management must be fully involved and fully supporting the compliance to halal, the needs to comply to halal, because it is not only in terms of sourcing the materials, but also on the human resource aspect. And the human resource aspect is not only in terms of getting the halal executive or people who are aware of halal, but knowledge dissemination to the whole organization. Yeah, because like what Ibu Nila has presented just now in terms of the Syariah hospital, where she recommended that the whole Syariah hospital personnel are aware of the initiative. So it should be for halal, when any organization is embarking on halal, the whole organization must be aware, sensitized about the company wanting to comply with the halal requirements. So going to what Pak Afdal asked in terms of the government, yes, Alhamdulillah, in terms of Indonesia, you already have the agencies or the ministries in charge of halal, in charge of health, both within the government. So now the Ministry of Health and the BPJPH has to be closely collaborating the way that the NPRA and JAKIM are closely collaborating for halal pharmaceuticals in Malaysia. And another agency, government agency that's important in this element is the standards. So in Malaysia, we have the Department of Standards Malaysia in the whole ecosystem. So for Indonesia, the Badan Nasional Indonesia should be involved also. And the fourth one is definitely KNEKS. The counterpart in Malaysia is HDC. So these four key entities are important in order to direct cohesive collaboration. Like I said just now, public-private partnership. So it must first be public-public partnership, then extended to public-private partnership, so that everybody is of the same mind. Because like just now, Pak Rahman showed in his presentation about the Center of Excellence for vaccines, and also the discussion at CPHI about the need for halal pharmaceutical standards. But all that has been discussed also, and the SMICC, SMIC, the OIC, channel for standards are already coming up, drafting the standards for halal pharmaceuticals at OIC level. It's now currently in the public comment. That means from they are seeking comments from the member states for that particular standard. So I guess it's the representative on this many industry or many association or committees that is discussing it globally. The connections and the collaboration needs to be more intact, more synergized, so that we don't lose out the information with one another. So perhaps KNEKS can play the lead role to connect all this.
Okay.
Back to Pak Afdal.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Rosie. So the key is collaborations. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Collaboration, that's one, Pak Afdal, but there must also be one, the head of the coordinator. So one body that has all the information coordinates between all these agencies. So that's why I said back to you, I would like to suggest that KNEKS play that role.
Okay, noted. So the top management, the political will of the governments to do the halal by design in the pharmaceutical industry. I think that's the key that you mentioned, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Rosie. I'm going to Pak Rahman. Pak Rahman, Ms. Rosie just said about public-private partnerships to develop maybe as one of the channeling of the opportunity to invest more, the capital to the pharmacy industry, to halal by design developments. What do you think about this public-private partnership for the biopharma and for all the others producers for the halal pharmaceuticals? Ms. Paraman.
Thank you, Pak Afdal. So I have the same point of view with Ibu Rosie. We cannot work alone for this ecosystem, because there are a supply chain to assure that the sustainability of the vaccine or medicine manufacturing are in place. So if we break down all this chain, we can find that raw materials, and we have mentioned that in Indonesia we have more than 90% raw materials are imported, and mostly from India, China, and some of them from the United States and European, which is their countries has not familiar yet with the halal system. They well known about the quality system, yes, they have the regulation and international standard to assure the quality, safety, efficacy, which is a Toyiban aspect. But for the halal aspect, we need to brainstorm with our partners in their countries. And one key point is we need to assure the supply chain which implemented the halal assurance system, starting from raw materials, supporting materials, and supporting equipment. And this will be helpful for the industry, not only in Indonesia, I believe in Malaysia and other countries, to register their products that all the supply chain has met the halal assurance system standard. So that's why the public-private partnership is the keywords for this success story. Industry like biopharma or other manufacturers, even in Indonesia or our partner in Malaysia, we are depends on the raw materials from other industries. So we need to have the strengthened collaboration, not only from the pharmaceutical industry itself, but also from the raw material industry and the basic chemical industry and the supporting equipment industry. So this will have a long supply chain, and I agree with Bu Rosi suggests that one body need to be a coordinator or need to be a dirigent for this orchestra. Thank you, Pak.
Thank you, Paraman. So, yeah, biopharma cannot work alone. I think that's the key. We have to work together, and all the producers, maybe not only in Indonesia, producer from materials from other countries, but we want also to get more materials coming from Indonesia, certified by Halal and can be used in the industry, pharmacy industry. So next to Bu Ilma, well, what do you think? Is that difficult to do the research to get more materials ready for the pharmaceutical industry? So Paraman, no need to import from other countries. I think the roles of the halal centers in the university, and not only from ITB, maybe from others, campus can be worked together to get more materials to be ready. Well, what do you think about that?
Okay, thank you so much, Pak, for the very nice question. Yes, I think it is a similar problem to the research institution also in the university. Before we produce some kind of raw materials halal, we also need the other substance to start the research. And until now, for the raw materials preparation or for the take out or get a reagent is also still hard. I hope that from the regulation or have a special treatment for the researchers, so we make it easier to perform the research, and after that we do hope that we can produce the significant result of our research. As an information for today, maybe we need at least 3 months to 2 until 3 months to find the reagent for next reaction and research. But on the other hand, as I have presented in one slide, that actually we have a very high potency to develop the herbal or to develop plants raw materials. Yeah, the raw materials that are sourced from halal, of course, as you said, that will come from plant source. But again, I think I'm still optimistic, yeah. And I offer the expert from ITB, I think, so from what is it, chemist, technology, yeah, or from the chemistry itself and also from School of Pharmacy. Actually, we study about how to synthesize chemicals and also drug and pharmaceutical products. But again, we ask or we need the the good ecosystem to support the research also in raw materials. So it's like, what is that in Indonesia? Lingkaran setan like that. If we had to find a reagent, it is hard also to make to produce something that is significant to the raw material for pharmaceutical and also for healthcare product. Maybe that's Pak Afdal.
Okay, thank you, Bu Irma.
Yeah.
So I noted that ecosystem for the research must be also we develop in Indonesia. I think we need to call all the professors, Indonesian professors around the world, to come back to Indonesia to do the research together.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Thank you, Bu Irma. Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah, we would like to get the question from the participants. Okay, I think I get a question from Ms. Rosie about the, okay, informed decision. Okay, one question, Ms. Rosie, from the participants. How to make informed decisions about halal is necessary or compulsory in healthcare industry, since most of product in healthcare industry considered as emergency or darura. So this is, I think, is a very important question. Some people say, okay, this is darura, so we can use it.
Yes.
But without starting the halal by design concepts, darura will be continue, but we want to change it. Well, what do you think about how to make informed decisions? Small ones?
Yes, definitely. The usage of the word darura is like overrated, especially when now there are more options available on the part of health supplements and even the over-the-counter, like the ones that doesn't require prescription. I believe there are lots more of such products that are halal certified and widely available. So that is the first step that we need to get and encourage the public, especially the Muslims around the world, not only in Malaysia and Indonesia, to start looking out for the halal certified products on pharmaceuticals that doesn't require prescription, that is readily available on the shelves, on the counter, online. So this will create demand for the medicines, the one that require prescription, to be halal certified. You see, so without the availability of choices, you are unable to make the informed decision. You can only stick to one because your preservation of life, your preservation of your health is the most important in the Maqasid Syariah. But when there's option, and that option is suitable for your health, for your life, then you should choose that option. So this informed decision-making process needs to also be a module or knowledge sharing, just like how we started the information sharing on halal and halal certification. So that should start, the ball should start rolling in terms of this informed choice decision making, as with the involvement of the health professionals and the Sharia experts. So the Sharia experts and the health professionals need to then collaborate together, converge their knowledge to come out with the SOP or some sort of references that can be understood and applied by the public at large in order for them to make the informed decision. And the social media influencers can be used to guide the public how to make these informed choice decisions. So in a short sentence, as a summary, informed choice decision, you need to start the ball or the sensitization just like the way how we sensitize people about halal certification. We have to start now.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rosie. So, agree with you, demand from the consumers, because
Right.
when consumer asking for the halal pharmaceutical, and then the producers will start to design and then to develop the product and make the product available on the market. So,
Yeah.
okay.
If I may ask Pak Abdal, add some more, just like what Pak Rahman was saying, and also Ibu was saying about the ingredients, the availability of the ingredients, the supply of the ingredients, the raw materials and all that are actually controlled by non-Muslims, and they're not aware about these halal certification requirements. So that part is also important to start the knowledge sharing with these people, because that's the upstream, the highest of the upstream. Without these people that produces the ingredient buy into the concept of the need to do halal certification, you won't get the availability of choices available that soon, and therefore you can't make that informed choice decision.
Okay.
Betul
Noted,
Pak
Ms.
Rahman?
Rosie. Yeah. So the producers need to be aware the requirement of the producers, because the customers need that kind of halal product to be available on the market. Okay, I want to continue to Pak Rahman about the availability of the product available on the market. So I think we would come to vaccine product. I'm sure Biopharma has a roadmap to get more vaccine available or certified as a halal vaccines. Maybe Pak Rahman can explain more about the roadmap of Biopharma.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, Pak Afdal. I think this roadmap have also shared with the Ministry of Health and other related institutes, because the vaccines and medicines, like Bu Rosie mentioned, if there is no alternative, we still can, it's allowed to use the vaccine or the medicine with one notes that there's no alternatives. Because if we need to change one component of vaccine or the medicines, it has long consequences, and we believe that it can in fact impact to the quality, safety, and efficacy. And for the vaccines and medicines, we need to test the animals for preclinical trials. And then if the tests are passed, means that the candidates of the vaccine or medicines is safe, then we can follow to the trials to the human health with phase 1 for safety, and then followed by phase 2 for immunogenicity, and phase 3 for efficacy. It takes a long time. So that's why we suggest to have the new products as halal by design, starting from the beginning. Then we can use the optimization of halal raw materials, halal process, etc. So back to your questions. In the short term, the company needs to evaluate all the existing products. The existing products, which include the not only the raw materials, but also all the processes, the production, the quality control, the storage, and distribution. The a big challenge is the supply from imported vendor or suppliers. Bu Rosi mentioned that all the countries, not all of them are well aware about the halal criteria or halal requirements. So we need to train in part of the collaboration and partnership with our supplier. That's the short-term program. For the midterm, we need to collaborate with other related stakeholders like universities, like ITB, Institute Teknologi Bandung. Yes, we have some partnership in terms of research. Bu Ilma mentioned about the media research. That's for the midterm program. We have to strengthen the collaboration starting from R&D with other institutes or universities or other research entity. For the long-term period is the getting the harmonization about the criteria for halal vaccines and halal medicines, because from some point of view, they are emergency case, so there's no not regulation, but in some countries in OIC region, it's not mandatory, but it's voluntary. So that's why, because there's no harmonized criteria for halal in vaccine medicine. It's different with food and beverages. They are already in set, they are already in place. Now we need to discuss with other countries, our brothers and sisters in our IC member states, to have the same criteria for vaccines and medicine in terms of halal. I think that's hopefully it will answer the questions. Over to moderator.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Rahman. Okay, I think our discussion is very, very interesting and critical for the development of the ecosystem, halal, pharmaceutical, and healthcare in the future. But we have a very limitation of time. Before we close the first sessions, I would like to get a conclusion remark from each of the speakers, maybe in 1 or 2 minutes to all the participants. Yeah, Bu Ilma, maybe you can start, please.
Thank you. So I think we all have one conclusion that halal by design is the best way to optimize the halal production for pharmaceutical and healthcare. And secondly, is collaboration and coordination, togetherness from all aspects from institutions. It will be very valuable to build and to develop halal pharmaceutical and healthcare ecosystem. That's all I think. That's okay.
Okay. Thank you, Bu Ilma. Thank you. Success for the ATB halal centers. Yeah. Pak Rahman, please.
Yeah, thank you. So halal need to be set and implemented in our supply chain. Now it's time for collaboration instead of competition. Thank you.
Thank you. It's very, very short, but very important for all of us. Yeah. Thank you, Pak Rahman. Ms. Rosi?
Yes, totally agree with Pak Rahman. No more competition, especially within the OIC member countries. Let's work together because it's not just at each country's level, Malaysia level, Indonesia level. It has to be at OIC member country level to have this coordination, the collaboration, because we need to start from the top supply chain, where the majority of the ingredients producers are not familiar with halal. What more, getting a halal certification? That's one of the great issues of halal certificate holder in any country that holds the halal certificate. And then also to the consumer side, it needs a global, or at least the OIC member countries' consumer demand to show that we need the halal certified pharmaceutical products and all other products too, so that the top will be alert and get the supply chain ready, and the bottom is aware there's availability of choices. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rossi. Yeah, this is the end of the first sessions. And this morning, we have very interesting discussion with the participants. Thank you, Ms. Rossi. Thank you, Pak Rahman, Bu Ilma. I think I make some notes critical about the informed decisions, halal by designs, and lastly is very important. I think we cannot work alone. We must work together and bring these concerns not only in Indonesia, but maybe to all the world producers for the materials, for the halal pharmaceutical, so that we can serve our consumers with more halal product in the future. All the participants, thank you very much. Alhamdulillah, and I will refer back to the MC. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Rosi, Pak Rahman.
Indonesia is a country full of diversity with abundant natural and cultural wealth. It is home to the largest Muslim population in the world. As a country with the largest Muslim population in the world, Indonesia has great potential as well as challenges in developing a Sharia-based economic system. An economic system that focuses on the principles of justice and virtue in all of its processes. Justice and virtue for every party involved. A system that covers all aspects of people's lives, from industry to financial services and investment, from halal food and halal tourism to digital media, from halal pharmacy and cosmetics to Muslim fashion and more. The development of Islamic economy and finance has developed significantly in the last 2 decades and will continue to grow in line with the increasing Muslim population in the world. The KNEKS, or the National Committee for Islamic Economy and Finance, exists as a non-structural state strategic institution led directly by the President, serve as a mediator and catalyst in developing the Islamic economy in Indonesia. KNEKS is mandated to accelerate, expand, and advance the development of the Islamic economy to support national economic development. KNEKS, which was originally named KNKS, was a recommendation from the Master Plan for Indonesia Sharia Financial Architecture. Formed through Presidential Regulation Number 91 of 2016 concerning the National Sharia Finance Committee, which later expanded its scope of work to become KNEKS through Presidential Decree Number 28 of 2020 concerning KNEKS. Having a vision to make Indonesia an independent, prosperous, and civilized Indonesia by becoming the world's leading Islamic economic center, KNEKS has 4 main strategies, namely strengthening halal value, strengthening Islamic finance, strengthening micro, small, and medium enterprises, and strengthening the digital economy. Indonesia Sharia Economic Master Plan was created as a common guideline for the Sharia economic system. As the world's largest Muslim country, Indonesia is ready to be the world's leading Sharia economic center.
Organization of Islamic Cooperation, also known as OIC, is an international organization that serves as a forum of cooperation among Muslim countries in various fields, with health as one of them. Vaccines are necessary in preventing a variety of infectious disease and unexpected turns of events such as pandemic, while other biotechnology products are used for treatment of numerous non-communicable diseases. Indonesia has been entrusted as OIC Center of Excellence for Vaccines and Biotechnology Products in December 2017 during the 6th session of ICHM in Jeddah. Supporting the Center of Excellence is Bio Farma, with its long experience in vaccine manufacture, having research and development capabilities and facilities. The facilities are equipped with the latest technology and equipment to facilitate research and development activities that extends from lab all the way to the pilot scale production. Research and development covers upstream, downstream, and adaptive control quality process for the needs of new product development, whereas pilot scale production serves as an upscaling process prior to entering commercial scale production. Bio Farma has numerous WHO pre-qualified products, thus enabling supply to various countries through UNICEF, with more than 50 OIC countries among them. With competent resources, this Center of Excellence shall strive to address global health issues, particularly relating to vaccines and biotechnology product capacity building among OIC member states. Knowledge and technology sharing will enhance the autonomy of OIC's member states in producing high-quality vaccines and biotechnology products, thus contributing to the well-being of the global community. Indonesia is ready to carry the task as Center of Excellence with Bio Farma, among others, as a site for collaboration. Together with OIC and Indonesia, Bio Farma strives to innovate to produce new vaccines and biotechnology products for the benefit of mankind.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to the international webinar Halal Pharmaceutical and Healthcare Ecosystem Industry Forum. In this second sessions, I will be the moderator with the topic investment opportunities in the halal pharmaceutical and healthcare ecosystems. All the participants in this second discussions, I would like to invite our first speaker, Mr. Ongki Marta, VP Business Development PT Jababeka Terbuka. Halo, selamat siang Pak Ongki.
Siang Pak Afdal.
Apa kabar Pak?
It's good Pak, very good Pak. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you Pak Ongki to join our discussions in today's webinar. I think, if I'm not mistaken, in last 2 months, I heard that Jababeka just pre-launched the Kawasan Industri Halal. Halal Industrial Park. It's very interesting to get the plan and more development for the halal industry in Indonesia. Today we will discuss about the investment opportunities in the halal pharmaceutical and healthcare ecosystem, and also not only for the pharmaceutical, I think also for the bioproduct, Pak Ongki. Okay, without any further ado, please welcome Pak Ongki. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Pak Afdal. On this occasion, I would like to present about JBK rules in development of halal industry with the transformation of smart industry 4.0. Okay, this is the history of industrial park in Indonesia. So at first industrial park were developed in 1970 by the government or the state-owned company as a reaction to the needs of industrial park. This first industrial park is known as Jakarta Industrial Estate Pulau Gadung or GF. As the flow of investment was increasing in Indonesia, then in 1989, private company were allowed to develop industrial estate. JBK Industrial Estate is the first private industrial area in Indonesia, so we can call ourselves as a pioneer. Then in 2009, the government is correct the development is of industrial park into the third generation. A more modern industrial area with better facilities such as a special economic zone. And in 2020, we start entering the Industrial 4.0 generation. Then this JBK in facing global change with Industrial 4.0. JBK has applied Industrial 4.0 regarding service, infrastructure, and management. We established President University to prepare smart resources. JBK is also developing a new area, namely JBK 9, which is direct toward a smart industry hub in which there is also a halal cluster. Then we also have a smart port called Cikarang Dry Port, smart infrastructure such as smart water treatment plant and water treatment plant, smart power plant called Kasi Power. Then at this time, we are also preparing a research and development place to facilitate tenant or factory in the JBK Industrial Park. And all of our estate management has been integrated with several tenant of factory need. JBK has three pillars. The first one, land development, including industrial park, residential, commercial, and office, etc. Then the next business pillar is infrastructure. So we have Bekasi Power, Cikarang Dry Port, water treatment plant, and water treatment plant. And the third business pillar is leisure and hospitality. Now we have three golf courses in Cikarang, Tanjung Lesung, and Magelang in Central Java. Then we also have tourism area that have been included in the special economic zone. The name of Tanjung Lesung and Morotai. As we can see here, JBK has been transformed to 30 years. At first, we were an industrial estate company that was founded in 1989, and we transformed into the integrated township when JBK expand its business to become an industrial park with urban facility from 1995 to 2010. Then in early 2011, JBK became a city developer by developing a new city in several locations with industrial and tourism base. Our target for 2024 is to go toward integrated city, integrated smart city 4.0 and smart society 5.0, which include the halal industrial hub. So this picture shows JBK ongoing project. Apart from JBK Cikarang Industrial Estate, We also have a project in Menara Batavia, which in office center in Jakarta. Then we also have the Tanjung Lesung tourism area in Banten, and Kendal Industrial Park in Central Java, Borobudur Golf area in Central Java, and Morotai tourism special economic zone in Maluku. Okay, the following is the Jabeka Cikarang Master Plan. The area that is currently being built in 5,600 hectare, and currently we also developing Jabeka Phase 9 with an area approximately 500 hectare. Currently, the population in Jabeka Cikarang is 1.2 million people, with 730,000 manpower, 10,000 expatriate, and 2,000 national and multinational company from 30 cities. Again, this is a pie chart of the industrial Jababeka. The diagram shows that there are 2% of the pharmaceutical industry in Jababeka with fairly good infrastructure, complete facility, and very supportive industrial environment. This is a great opportunity for the development of the pharmaceutical industry in Jababeka. And this our world-class facility at Jababeka. You can say that Jababeka is a one-stop service. All of the facility need by industry and urban area already here. We have three kind of project here in Jababeka. We have smart city, residential area, industrial area, and hospitality area. On this project have been integrated into smart city. All service already use application from monitoring, maybe paying water bill, exporting goods, customer service, paying electricity, or all of which can be integrated with one application. This is a research and development facility provided by Jababeka for industrial tenant, such as system development, project development, robotic, 3D printing, etc. Okay, we are currently preparing a roadmap for the development of Jababeka Halal Industrial Park. Seeing the slide, Indonesia has a opportunity to develop a halal hub in terms of pharmacy and cosmetic, finance, food and beverage, travel and tourism, fashion, etc. Therefore, Jababeka want to develop a halal industrial hub when prepare integrated area, industry from upstream to downstream, process activity that are in accordance with Islamic Syariah, including ranging from water treatment, water management, supply of raw material. This here is the definition of halal industrial estate that mentioned in the previous slide. We are currently running the process from its stage from licensing, certification, management that is included in the halal industrial estate procedure. The current government is aspiring to development of the domestic halal industry, one of which is track of establishment of halal industrial estate. The extent of the halal industrial estate is expected to attract global investor to make Indonesia the world halal center. The government has prepared 6 halal industrial estate, and Jababeka now is currently preparing a proposal to the government regarding the status of halal industrial estate. In the addition, we are preparing certification, target market, appropriate infrastructure and management system. JBK want to launch the best halal industrial park in Indonesia. This is JBK Halal Industrial Roadmap. We started the initiation from 2020, but as we know, the COVID pandemic attacked Indonesia not long after that, so our progress was a little slow. In 2020, we prepared a feasibility study. We create team, master plan, and the action plan. Then in 2021, we start prepare to platform related to logistics, certification, raw material needs, preparing human resource, preparing lab, and research and development. This year, we have reserve certification from several things. One of them is water supply, logistics, starting to find market, doing promotion, and already launched a halal cluster product. And then our target is in 2024, we launched JBK Halal Industrial Park with the best management JBK Halal Industrial Park in Indonesia. This is the location for the JBK Halal Industrial Park master plan. We have prepared approximately 500 hectares for the Halal Hub. This location is outside JBK initial development of 5,600 hectares. This is our new development location in JBK Cikarang. The following is the progress of our development JD Hub cluster. Basically, it is a JBK e-commerce digital hub, which is included in the halal cluster. JBK has prepared a halal cluster with the digital hub concept to help tenants carry out halal certification and export halal product. These are tenants who already have halal certification in JBK Industrial Estate. Okay, so that is it. I really hope that this presentation is useful. Thank you for your attention, and return to moderator Pak Aftar Alisar. Thank you, Pak.
Thank you. Very interesting information about the development of JBK Halal Industrial Estate. Yeah, I take some notes. 2% of your current tenants are the pharma industry.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have 2% to pharmaceutical industry in JBK, Pak Afdal.
Good.
And we have 10 hospital in international hospital in JBK. Ada mitra keluarga hospital, Permata Keluarga, Harapan Keluarga, and other. We have 10 hospital in JBK.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, so we go to the next speaker before we discuss later. Our next speaker is a very prominent scholars in the halal supply chains. Please welcome Dr. Marco Timan, founder and CEO, LBB International. Hello, how are you, Mr. Marco?
Selamat siang, Pak Afdal. I'm very well. It's a great honor to be here at this international forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Marco, to joining our webinar today. I would like to introduce Dr. Marco to all the participants. Dr. Marco Timan is the founder of LBB International, the Netherlands, Malaysia, Indonesia, a supply chain strategy consulting and research firms. LBB advise clients in the area of procurement, productions, and halal business management. So Dr. Marco also doing the research fellow with the University of Malaya Halal Research Center in Malaysia. So I think all the participants, if Google the research halal supply chains, will come the names. Dr. Marco Timan is very, very prominent. So Dr. Marco also the Senior Editor Advisory Board of Journal Islamic Marketing, Emerald, UK, and Editor Board Member of the International Journal of Islamic Marketing and Branding, Inter Science Publisher, Switzerland. He's also a frequent speaker in many forums in Asia and Middle East, and also in Indonesia. So now we would like to get more insight from Dr. Marco regarding the development of the halal supply chain, halal clusters, and what should we do in the pharmaceutical industry sectors. The time is yours, Dr. Marco, please.
Thank you, Pak Afdal. A very good day. May peace be upon you. I would like to thank KNEKS in particular for inviting me to speak on this important topic, I think, on halal pharmaceutical and healthcare. I will put my slide on. I will be covering more insight into the investment opportunities. In particular, I will be covering the urgency of creating halal pharmaceutical and healthcare. Also, what are the opportunities for Indonesia? Thirdly, I will be covering a case study on modern Halal Valley, halal cluster in Indonesia, which has been developed, is in development, and I think one of the great example of an halal ecosystem. And finally, I have drafted some policy recommendations for Indonesia and the Indonesian government. So what is the urgency? So as we all know is that halal goes beyond food and is going into the non-food areas. And if there is one good thing out of this COVID pandemic, is that the Muslim consumer is clearly concerned about the Sharia compliance of vaccines and medical products. So there's a lot of pressure now, since COVID in particular, to get the vaccines, medicines, and healthcare services, both halal and tayyib, which was also highlighted by Ms. Rosie in the first panel, is that the Muslim world is very dependent on all the vaccines and medicines from non-OIC countries. This is a concern where for the halal assurance of medicines and vaccines, that there is a much better control and stronger production in OIC countries itself. As highlighted by Pak Rahman from Biopharma, he mentioned there's a big shortage of halal raw materials, ingredients, additives, but also culture media and many more. And from my perspective, this is an important bottleneck in order to create a successful halal pharmaceutical and healthcare cluster and industry. So that shortage of raw materials need to be addressed, where Indonesia, for example, could play, I think, a very dominant role. Which was highlighted by the various speakers this morning, is that halal pharmaceutical is complex. So to create medicines, vaccines is a long road, a complex journey. And to halalize existing medicines and vaccines can be very complex. In case you change an active of a medicine or vaccine, it requires possible new clinical trials, which can be not only a very long process, but also a very costly exercise. So it is therefore, I think, important to look at halal pharmaceuticals and healthcare in more detail. And I think from the COVID pandemic, it is a high priority area, I believe. So what are the opportunities for Indonesia? But foremost, how do I see the future of halal pharmaceuticals and healthcare? First of all, there has been a traditional approach to pharmaceuticals of remove the porcine out of the pharmaceuticals and also alcohol, towards, I think, a total halal supply chain and value chain. This is also addressed by Pak Rahman that said we have to look at the raw material supplies, who controls the raw material supplies, look at the storage and transportation, the containers that are sent all over the world, are halal and non-halal being mixed? In the warehouses, is halal and non-halal mixed? Also at the distributor, at the pharmacy, how is the halal integrity protected throughout the supply chain and the value chain, by also looking at branding, marketing, Islamic finance, takaful. So there are many more components with regards to halal pharmaceutical and healthcare than only looking at the components of a vaccine or the ingredient. The future of the halal Sharia compliant hospital, in the nice introduction of the seminar, it is moving, I think, in the future, in the years to come, from a halal Sharia compliant hospital to an entire halal healthcare network, looking at prevention to make people healthier, also looking at emergency care and aftercare after an operation, and also elderly homes. So to look at the entire perspective of halal healthcare instead of just the hospital. From halal manufacturing, it will be moving away to production of halal in halal clusters, where you have working on a comprehensive halal ecosystem. Thirdly, instead of developing unique country standards, that we are moving towards a harmonized single halal pharmaceutical and healthcare standard. I think that is extremely important. We see efforts by OSCE SMIC in that area. We see efforts also by individual countries. So I think it's important to appreciate the work which is done by OSCE SMIC and looking at, can we adopt the OSCE SMIC standard? Finally, I think the future is from halal competency training to train the halal committee, halal management team, and also internal halal auditors towards integrating halal in our medical education. So at the university that teach the doctors, the nurses about medicine, pharma, and healthcare sciences, halal needs to be integrated as part of the program, which is not the case in most OIC countries. So what are the opportunities for Indonesia in particular when it comes to halal pharmaceuticals and healthcare? So first of all, I think it's important to create strong, comprehensive halal ecosystem through a cluster approach to halal pharmaceuticals and healthcare. Secondly, is looking at production of halal certified raw materials. That is the bottleneck, and also highlighted by Professor Ilma. A lot of work needs to be done on raw materials. Also, Prof. Ilma, she highlighted the strength of Indonesia in the biodiversity in Indonesia, which can be leveraged for plant-based drugs and medicine. I would also like to refer here to an important hadith, which the Prophet, peace be upon him, he said, Allah did not send down a disease without having sent down its cure. In other words, our Creator created the remedies first, then the disease. So we need to look at the strong biodiversity of Indonesia. Where can we find those medicines that can cure diseases, that can help in pandemics, and many more? So a lot of research funds will be needed indeed. I concur with Professor Ilma on R&D in Indonesia to get them approved as plant-based drugs and medicines, and that they are proven to be effective. Also, I think what is important is to include halal into the medical and pharmaceutical healthcare sciences at universities. It is important to create a halal ecosystem. Why? Is to simplify organizing halal production for manufacturers, also to connect the producer of halal pharmaceuticals to ingredient suppliers, fast track innovation, and also advance also in halal maturity for companies from a product approach towards a supply chain and value chain. And this is so important to protect the corporate reputation for companies. I've been very privileged to work with Modern Halal Valley in Indonesia. I've been part of a team to create their master plan, and also currently part of a team to further market Modern Halal Valley and also implement the Halal cluster. So Modern Halal Valley is located in Banten, Cikande, 1 hour drive from Jakarta. It is 500 hectares in size. It can be expanded in future to 700 hectares, and it is a comprehensive halal ecosystem. So we have areas there for manufacturing, logistics, halal labs, commercial, Islamic banking, finance, also space for SMEs, and also soon a connection to Tanjung Priok, the main gateway in Indonesia. We talk about Modern Halal Valley as a cluster, and we have created a Halal Valley Society, a cluster organization to manage the cluster not only within the park, but also outside the park. So connecting to farmers, even 1,000 miles away in Aceh with farmer programs. We also have industry programs with SMEs, large industries. We have collaboration with universities to conduct R&D and research, and of course, good relationship with national and local governments. We also create the Halal Cluster Network, and we have signed agreement already since 2019 with Halal clusters outside Indonesia as well. So with Spain, with Malaysia, and also with in Taiwan, with Baraka Halal Development. This is important in order to create synergies. We talk about the Ummah, about collaboration between brothers and sisters, and we have to make it happen. So therefore, we need to link those clusters together to create a synergy and advantages between clusters. I would like to share with you some policy recommendations I have for the Indonesian government. It's very important to create halal clusters, to create a strong foundation of halal pharmaceutical and healthcare industry in Indonesia. What is important, first of all, to understand what is the current foundation of the existing Indonesian halal pharmaceutical and healthcare cluster. So what is Indonesia good at, like the plant-based medicines? Biopharma is a strong institution already, having developed a lot of halal pharmaceutical products. What should be the focus and design of Indonesia's halal pharmaceutical and healthcare cluster with the biggest potential, market potential, but also where is the strength of Indonesia in there? And finally, what are the key building blocks? So what are the components? Where should be the halal parks? What kind of industry should be developed? The detailed components. Also is important to create incentives to attract industry anchors. So when you design a cluster, you identify certain industries or suppliers or certain technologies that should be present in Indonesia. So there should be special incentives created for that. Also, it's important for Indonesia to simplify setting up of foreign companies in the country. Not only manufacturing, but also services. And currently, the paid-up capital requirements are quite high for service companies, which made it difficult for service industry to set up office in Indonesia. The final recommendation I have for Indonesia is also to adopt the OSC SMIC halal standards, which I think is critical to have an acceptance of halal pharmaceuticals made in Indonesia for all over the world. This was my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Marco. Thank you very much for the policy recommendation. I think it's very, very important to develop the value chains that you mentioned just now. The pharmaceutical industry need to understand the value chains of halal and start to produce the halal product, start from the infrastructure through the industry cluster. Okay, our next speaker is coming from the country. I think I can say this country is a rising star in the halal Islamic economy. Please join me to welcome Dr. Nuruddin T.H. Ting from the Managing Director at Barakah Taiwan Halal Hub. Assalamualaikum, good day. Dr. Ting, how are you? Okay, could you please unmute, please?
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Waalaikum salam. Thank you, Abdul. Alhamdulillah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ting, to join our webinar today. Okay, before I will introduce Dr. Ting to all the participants. Dr. Ting is a Managing Director at Barakah Taiwan Halal Hub International Group, Senior Vice President, Barakah Capital Holding. Also, Dr. Ting is a Taiwan Chair, Barakah Ethical Consumer Union, Chairman at the Taipei Grand Mosque, also Chairman CAO, Brilliant Private Equity Management Incorporations in China, Senior Director, Tano China Capital Management, and Senior Directors, Ernst & Young, SPP, Industrial Bank of Taiwan, Senior Engineer, China Engineering Consulting. So Dr. Ting is very have experience, start from the engineer, now as a Managing Director of the Halal Hub in Barakah, Taiwan. We want to get more insight from Dr. Ting. We know Taiwan just, I can say this a rising star in the Islamic economy, and now we can see the Taiwan also in some index report coming from the other researchers. Okay, without any further ado, Dr. Tim, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Abdul. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'll start with sharing my presentation. Okay.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you can see from the presentation, let me share the. Sorry. Let me share the.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The topic today is I want to present is Power Indonesia Halal Healthcare Ecosystem Development using International Fund Resources with the Islamic Financing Mechanism. And you can see on top is Allah had already created human.
Excuse me, Dr.
Body
Ting,
perfect.
the voice can you make it louder, please?
Okay. On top of here, we can see Allah had already created human body perfect. And it's our belief halal medic is the true recovery key for human beings. Today, although I'm Barakah Halal Hub is a certification body requested by Taiwan government to establish, and okay, sorry, that's let me readjust this. Okay. Okay. Today, the topic that I would like to share with all of you is the medical and clinical practice of new era of 21st century. This is from the investment point of view, and particularly coupled with the halal pharmaceutical and healthcare. Up until today, I think majority of the medical treatment are still using chemical medicine treatment, which is suppressive. That is developed over the past few hundreds of years. But up until the turn of the century, we have already found significant progress by 3 Nobel Prizes. Number 1 is the Nobel Prize 2003, that human body found about human body cell ion channel discovery, which is further notified by the Nobel Prize of 2021. Ion channels are important for many physiology process and disease conditions. In 2009, we found it is found telomere and telomerase enzyme in chromosomes are important, significant, play role in health recovery. So it is the turning point that we should refer to our self-healing system equipped by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with simply medicinal food, not too much or fully discard about the chemicals. Then the treatment can be done by iron recovery plus medical food and plus exercise. So in the 2003 Nobel Prize Chemistry, we found that ions passes through the the channel pore by gating the flow of ions across cell membranes. And cell membrane voltage, also known as ion pumps and ion channels, are those tiny batteries and resistors inserted in the membrane to accomplish many different biological functions to heal diseased cells. We can see the figure in the right is acupuncture. We have the traditional Chinese treatment with acupuncture treatment is actually stimulates membrane ions, ion channels for normalizing cell functions and gain sufficient nutrients and electric energy for cell recovery. So how does human cell work? Normally, our cells operates at about 20 to 25 millivolts. This is a very tiny little current or voltage on which the body operates. When we have to heal ourselves, the voltage will bring up to minus 50 millivolts. The increased voltage brings healing. So we can see from this operating voltage, and over here is healing. And if we intake too much acidity, we will decrease our voltage and to plus. So anything acid is a electron stealer, anything alkaline is an electron donor. So when our voltage is become positive, then we will start function optimally when they are deficient in minus voltage. So in this figure, we can see cell regeneration and chronic disease healing. The there are about 37 trillion cells with 200 cell types of human body. And each type of cells may have different lifespan. You can see on the right. So, and where our cell may regenerate for the period of time, special period of time, depending on the cells. And it is important to find out in the 2009 Nobel Prize that for discovering the protective role of telomere and telomerase enzyme in chromosomes. By introducing the telomerase into normal human cells is crucial for cell regeneration, and also finds out how conserved function of chromosome telomere repeat sequencing protects against degradation and recombination events. Telomerase is playing a very important role. Studying of the telomerase and telomere maintenance and for cancer treatment based on the targeting of telomerase activities has been going on over the past few years and has very flourishing improvement. And iron treatment is for receiving sufficient nutrition regarding it regulates metabolism, and traditional acupuncture and further electric acupuncture play very important role for triggering iron signal for health treatment. And it is important to note that a herbal medicine healthy food is good for generating of telomerase enzyme for regulating the cell regeneration for cell rejuvenation. So this is a very important findings over the past 26 years. So up to the left of the presentation, we have these 3 Nobel Prize winners of significant discoveries on human cells. And to the right, I would like to share with everybody is the global institutional actions. We follow the United Nations Environmental Program with the financial initiatives. There's already been abundant financial resources. It's called world's multi-trillion-dollar ESG investment funds available already. So in 2009, we have the Greening Award Investment Fund publication, noting that it is very important to take environmental, social, and governance issues into considerations. So all these funds are supporting all the developing countries developing ESG projects, even including household, residential, schools, or workplaces, healthcare facilities, even for highways and so forth. Anything that is for supporting the Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations. And today, I would like to share with the financing mechanism of ESG project funding. We have 2 major players. One is the asset manager. The other is the project company, whether to develop halal estate, halal industry, halal tourism, or any other ESG project. This is very precisely and 100% Sharia compliant. Firstly, we request an Indonesian bank to serve as the safe box for the international funding to land into Indonesia. So we called it advance payment guarantee is 100% of the face value. Our minimum financing size is 100 million euro. So with this safe box assures the fund that land into Indonesia will only be used for the development of the contracted project. Then the funding bank is comfortably to put in a series of monthly advance payments, we say 2 years in 23 monthly payments for the project development. So the funding bank will delegate this the funding bank will delegate the asset manager or the investor to oversee, to assist. Actually, we say it's a turnkey financing for the project company. The cash flow is like that. Firstly, 23 monthly payment will be put into the Indonesian bank through the asset manager as an investor. Then with 23 monthly withdrawals for the project company, it can develop the project appropriately. And upon 2 years, we have already the asset developed, can be pledged to the asset manager. Then the guarantee of the fund for developing the project can be released. This advance payment guarantee can be released. Then after a certain period of grace period, maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, depending on the financial feasibility study, and the project starts making repayment from operation cash flow, then make the repayment to the funding bank. And as you can witness, there are only 97% of the fund goes to the project company, and only 97% of the fund needs to be repaid to the funding source. While the funding is 100%, there is a 3% over here is to establish ESG assistance fund for example, for the flood relief or for the development of disadvantaged areas in Indonesia. This 3% is non-repayable. So this is a shopper-friendly financing sources that we would like to bring into Indonesia. And it is 100% project financing. We can finance from 0 to 100%, from A to Z, naming we do not request the developer to put up any substantial amount as collateral, and we can fund the project 100%. There's no need for 20% principal and 80% loan. No, this is 100% project financing. And it is 100% Sharia compliant. And in particular, we are using foreign direct investment mode, so there will create zero national foreign debt burden. So this financing source and financing structure is super friendly, and it's 100% Sharia compliant. And as you can see, we here at the bottom is the shareholder structure that before the full repayment, the developer will allocate 20% shareholding because the developer contributes the local affairs, but the investor contribute 100% of the fund. So it's a 80%, 20% project shareholding structure. And this is within the first 2 years, it's a development period. Then there's some grace period depending upon the how the project itself, the project specific conditions. And after the full repayment, we will turn the project. So we bring in the fund, we bring in the technology or resources together with the local developer to accomplish the project and have the project run operating in successfully. After the full repayment, we turn the project into the hands of the developer. So the developer may have 70% of shareholding, and we will walk away. I mean the investor walk away and become a minor shareholder. Okay. So this is a to the left is the nature of the fund, which is a UN ESG investment fund application and implementation. The nature of the fund is voluntarily participated by more than 180 international major financial institutions.
Dr. Ting, excuse me, Dr. Ting. The time is a limitation for the time. Maybe you can finish the presentation.
Okay, within 2 minutes,
please. Yeah.
Okay. So step 1 to step to number 8, we will until the project funding, we will strictly follow the UNEP procedures. Okay. So, and this is the proposed action plans for Indonesia. In particular, to the to the left, number 7, we propose that Indonesian to establish Indonesian medical plans inventory, including DNA bank. Okay. Then this is we will follow UNIDO, FAO. This is the proposed Baraka International Halal Estate Indonesia, and we have witnessed also there are about, for example, this Anki with Tababeka and also modern in development. They all have in Halal Estate. We do not mind to cooperate with both or either one of the successful developers. We just want to bring in for example, those halal industries from Taiwan with high potential to be grown by the vast Indonesia market. So we are providing, inshallah, we can integrate financing resources, technology, and so forth together to work with Indonesia. And of course, this financing is very new. We need the support from Ministry of Finance and OJK to support to realize the success of the fund landing into Indonesia. Thank you. That's all my presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ting. That's a very interesting presentation regarding the ESG project funding, how to develop the halal pharmacy from the beginning. I think you mentioned about the herbal treatment development in Indonesia as well, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now we open our discussions. For all the participants, you can submit the questions to all the speakers into the sessions using Slido, also the chat in the Zoom meeting. But before, I just would like to ask to Pak Ongki from Jababeka. Yes.
Yeah.
Pak Ongki. You mentioned that this year Jababeka introduced halal industrial estates and tried to introduce this initiative to the existing tenants. From the current development, what do you think that the response from the existing tenants, and are they mentioned something, for example, a new requirement, or what actually the needs from the industrial players related to the halal industrial estate?
Okay, thank you, Pak Afdal. About regulation, government is very support for JBK and develop halal industrial park. I'm very interesting for Dr. Makro presentation about development halal in modern land in West Jakarta corridor. Maybe JBK location in West East Jakarta corridor, and we have many opportunity because we have many tenants, to 2,000 tenants from 30 countries. Maybe we can collaborate about APG, academisi, businessmen, and government with collaborate to develop industrial park in Jababeka Cikarang.
Okay. So, back to the questions. We have a question from the audience to Pak Ongki. We read the questions. How to create connectivity between halal industrial park around the globe to ensure the halal traceability of the product. So we know the traceability, maybe your tenant is the producer of the end product. They buy some materials from the others country, from the others halal industrial park. Is there any system that you also want to introduce to get this traceability will be easy to inform to the consumer at the end?
Yeah, thank you. I think infrastructure in peace for the first we have Cikarang Airport to airport connect to from Cikarang to direct to Priok, is delivered to many countries from Bea Cukai, from for all logistic support in Cikarang Airport. Then we have any infrastructure. Now we certification in halal from many institutions about water treatment plant and other. Maybe the main of the infrastructure or based for to sending for the product to global network.
Okay. Okay. I think Pak Ongki, I think we need to discuss about the codifications here. Currently, the KNEKS already introduced how to do codifications, so the exporters or importers for the halal product can also mention the information of the halal certifications when they are doing export and import. I think that will be good if we can implement in your dry port in Cikarang.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, thank you, Pak Ongki. Okay, let's see the question from the audience. Okay. Before we go to the audience, actually I have a question to Dr. Marco. Okay, Dr. Marco, you mentioned about the halal pharmaceutical value chains development and halal healthcare network development, production in halal clusters, harmonized halal standard, and many, many things that we need to improve to get better ecosystem for the halal pharmaceutical. But the question, when it comes for the prioritizing, which one of the aspect that we need to look at the top priority? What do you think about that, Dr. Marco?
Thank you, Pak Afdal. I think which was highlighted also by the previous speakers from biopharma is that there is a shortage of halal raw materials. So I think there's an opportunity, I think, for Indonesia that they can manufacture halal ingredients, additives, cultures. So that seems to be the bottleneck, halal raw materials. So I think there's an opportunity to leverage on the diversity, biodiversity of Indonesia, the strength of Indonesian farming, the culture in herbal products in Indonesia, to create massive production of halal certified ingredients, additive cultures made in Indonesia, certified by BPPH. So halal ingredients, I think, is needed. It is important to look at the cluster approach, because with a cluster approach, you can better organize, you can better upskill, you can create faster innovation, and you can better control supply chains. And that was also mentioned by biopharma. We need to control those supply chains. We don't have control of our raw materials. Get that control first. So I think my focus would be to create, to boost production of raw materials, ingredients, leveraging on Indonesia's biodiversity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Marco, for the answers. Okay, back to the audience. One question to Dr. Ting. This is our friend also, Mr. Wahyu from Modern Industrial Estate, asking to Dr. Ting. I would like to ask Mr. Nuruddin tips or experience to attract investor, especially to the drug industry, to the halal area. What should be done by industrial asset manager or governments? So Dr. Ting said the question is how to interact the investor to invest in the halal industrial estate. Please unmute, Dr. Ting.
Okay. Basically, I am a certification body, but also, as you can see, Artford International Group is a financial consultant. We can actually, for the department, we will integrate financing resources. And for the potential projects, and I think we can team up with Modern because we have already entered into MOU in 2019 about this. We can actually bring in the plants or some potential companies into Indonesia. We provide the funding. Of course, all those projects needs to be bankable and have. We will review the potential for financial forecast, and as long as our fund can be successfully landed into Indonesia, we can help. We don't mind to where the project to be launched, as long as it's within Indonesia. And as you can see from my presentation, this is a very friendly financing scheme. So any project that is fits in ESG, in particular halal food or halal tourism or halal pharmaceutical projects, we will review the potential of the project, and we will be like to cooperate with any project owners or developers in Indonesia to realize the Sharia economy boosted by international financing sources and with 100% Sharia financing scheme. We are able to do. We are ready, willing, and able to cooperate with anybody.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ting. So I think the halal industrial estate manager need to understand the requirement from the investors and understand what are the needs and develop some what do you call it, not only incentive but also the funding, how to implement the financing of the development in the next future. Okay, back to the questions. Actually, I want to ask Dr. Marco. In this morning, we heard about the halal by design from all the speakers. They are agree halal by design need to be implemented in the early stage for the pharmaceutical industry. So what do you think how to implement this halal by design in the cluster development, especially to introduce the awareness to the producers or the industrial players, for the ingredients players, the materials players, so they will be more aware about this concept halal by design. What do you think, Dr. Marco?
Thank you, Pak Afdal. It's a tough question because the pharmaceutical industry have been dominated by players from non-OSCE countries, so they have a very limited understanding of halal. So what I think is needed short term is that halal needs to be integrated in business management education. I wrote a book on halal business management, giving master classes, conducting that at IPMI International Business School, doing it internationally, and we have a good traction also among international participants. So we need to bring halal education into the business schools, need to bring halal education in medical schools, integrated with education for nurses and doctors, and show the existing halal industry players that there is a big need in the Muslim world of halal pharmaceuticals and halal pharmaceutical ingredients. Try to educate them, but I think foremost to show leadership by OSCE countries such as Indonesia, to start actively like biopharma to produce halal pharma for the world and to produce the ingredients and additives that are needed to be halal certified, so that Indonesia can be a powerhouse of a global leader in a global supplier of raw materials for the pharmaceutical industry, which are of the highest quality standards, big volumes, and of course halal certified in the Halal Indonesia. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Marco. So it's a long journey in the future, to insert the halal understanding to the business player through the business school to the medical school, so they will understand and they will more aware to develop halal by design since the beginning. Thank you very much, Dr. Marco. I have a questions to Dr. Ting regarding the turning point, medical and medicinal science. Could you explain more about this turning point and what should anticipate for Indonesia, especially? We have a reach of the materials, natural herbs can produce in Indonesia.
Yes, starting from the turning of the century, there are significant fundings. From a long-term investment perspective, we think the using herbal medicine is becoming a more and more significant trend. Even those Western industries has already started locking up the sources of herb resources in a few countries in the Southeast Asia. It is a trend that turning the self-healing instead of taking chemical pills. It is good to for the true recovery. And Indonesia, in particular, has a lot of substantial resources of herbs, and I think it is perhaps the best country in the world to start to play. I think Indonesia should play an important role in the herbal medicine or plant-based medical food. I will propose establishing some research institute of the medicinal food or medicinal plant, and starting doing some deeper research, and we are more than willing to participate, and we can bridge some international biotech research to cooperate with Indonesia institutes. Let's break up the political boundary, break up the geographic boundary. This is a significant step for the entire human being of the globe. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ting. I think this is very interesting for Indonesia because, you know, right, in Indonesia, the traditional medicines like jamu and many others herbs materials is common used by the Indonesian people. And when it's come to become industrialization of these herbs medicines, that's a very good opportunity in the futures. Thanks. Okay, because we have limitations, I think before we ending this second session webinar, I want to get 1 or 2 minutes from each of the speakers about how to improve the ecosystem, how to improve the investment opportunity in halal clusters, in halal industry, and also what is the suggestions for Indonesia governments to develop halal pharmacy, healthcare ecosystem in the futures. Yeah, please, maybe Pak Ongki as a last point from you. Thank you, Pak.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I hope all institutions can collaborate from academia, businessmen, government. We can collaboration for successfully for industrial estate in Indonesia. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bangki. The collaboration with the industrial players, we'll try to more collaborate here. What we call that, halal industrial estates, industry players, stakeholder, academicians, and the rules of the KNEKS. I think we can try to get move forward from this current condition. Thank you. Dr. Marco, please.
Thank you, Pak Afdal. I think 3 recommendations. So foremost, I think it's important to create a country study for Indonesia on the halal pharmaceutical and healthcare cluster. So looking at what is the existing foundation of Indonesia in halal healthcare, and celebrating, of course, the strength you have already in herbal medicines and your culture in here. Also looking at the focus and design of the halal clusters in Indonesia related to pharmaceutical and healthcare, and also identify the building blocks for halal healthcare and halal pharmaceuticals in Indonesia. So cluster study is needed. Secondly, I think it's important that the Indonesian government creates special incentives to attract or develop important cluster anchors to make and fast track the cluster development in Indonesia in halal healthcare and halal pharmaceutical production. Thirdly, also to adopt the OSCE SMIC standards. OSCE SMIC is developing international standards. If Indonesia adopts the OSCE SMIC standard, it also will fast track also harmonization in the world. And I think that leadership of Indonesia is important as the largest Muslim population and very important in the Muslim world in giving direction to harmonization of halal standards. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Marco. It's very, very significant recommendations. We will take note for that. Thank you very much. Lastly, Dr. Nuruddin Ting, some comment from you. Thank you.
Okay, so Alhamdulillah, thank you, Pak Abdal. The only suggestion is that maybe KNEKS can try to work as a one-stop shopping for facilitating the international investment funding can be successfully landed into Indonesia for developing those projects, and perhaps with a few government agencies need to work together. Number one, OJK. Number two, Ministry of Finance, and perhaps Bank Indonesia. We can work together to to harmonize from the regulational side to clarify. And the secondly is number one is the government agency. Number two is the banking sectors. This is a new financing scheme of using zero collateral for advance payment guarantee to assure the project funding to be safely administered by the Indonesian bank. So these are the key, very crucial for the successful channeling huge international funding coming into Indonesia for the development. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nuruddin Ting. I think this is very, very critical for us to get collaborations from the investment for the halal product development in Indonesia. Okay, all the participants, distinguished guests and speakers, I think we are entering the end of the second sessions, our today international webinar Halal Pharmaceutical and Healthcare Ecosystem Industry Forum. We know that to develop the pharmaceutical halal is a very long process, costly, so that we need to collaborate. We need to understand what are the needs from the players, what are the needs from the consumers, and how to collaborations all those initiatives together to make halal certifications to become more strengthened, and halal product will be produced, more vaccines, more medicines, halal, so we can serve the big economy, Islamic big economy, not only in Indonesia, but also we can supply this to around the world. Thank you very much, Dr. Marco. Thank you very much, Pak Ongki Marta. Thank you very much, Dr. Nuruddin Ting. from all the sessions. I will close this with Alhamdulillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and back to MC.
Thank you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there was 2 fruitful sessions that we've done all together, discussing the key drivers in sustaining the development of halal pharmaceuticals, and also regarding the investment opportunities in the halal pharmaceutical and healthcare ecosystem. We've heard a lot of insights from our speakers in this forum regarding the halal by design approach, which is very crucial, and also we must work together, hand in hand, all together, collaborating with the world producers and also industry stakeholders in order to create a better healthcare ecosystem. Also, we've heard the regulation recommendation on halal product value change, introduction regarding the halal industrial park and smart city with completed facilities and services, and so many other insights from our speakers. We hope that this forum will bring beneficial impact, positive impact, significant changes for better regulation, for further collaboration, for the improvement, and also further development for the halal pharmaceutical and healthcare ecosystem industry, especially in Indonesia. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our session, of our forum today. Thank you so much for joining us. I will remind you once again that every single participant will get e-certificate once you've already filled in the link shared to you by the chat box. And also, don't forget to fill in the survey link so that we can create a better and also a better event, a better agenda for our next meeting. So you can also scan this barcode in order to fill in the survey of this event. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm Bayu Aditama, your host. Once again, thank you so much for joining us at the international webinar on Halal Pharmaceutical and Healthcare Ecosystem Industry Forum. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a good day.
Indonesia is a country full of diversity with abundant natural and cultural wealth. It is home to the largest Muslim population in the world. As a country with the largest Muslim population in the world, Indonesia has great potential as well as challenges in developing a Sharia-based economic system. An economic system that focuses on the principles of justice and virtue in all of its processes. Justice and virtue for every party involved. A system that covers all aspects of people's lives, from industry to financial services and investment, from halal food and halal tourism to digital media, from halal pharmacy and cosmetics to Muslim fashion and more. The development of Islamic economy and finance has developed significantly in the last 2 decades and will continue to grow in line with the increasing Muslim population in the world. The KNEKS, or the National Committee for Islamic Economy and Finance, exists as a non-structural state strategic institution led directly by the President, serve as a mediator and catalyst in developing the Islamic economy in Indonesia. KNEKS is mandated to accelerate, expand, and advance the development of the Islamic economy to support national economic development. KNEKS, which was originally named KNKS, was a recommendation from the Master Plan for Indonesia Sharia Financial Architecture, formed through Presidential Regulation No. 91 of 2016 concerning the National Sharia Finance Committee, which later expanded its scope of work to become KNEKS through Presidential Decree No. 28 of 2020 concerning KNEKS. Having a vision to make Indonesia an independent, prosperous, and civilized Indonesia by becoming the world's leading Islamic economic center, KNEKS has 4 main strategies, namely strengthening halal value, strengthening Islamic finance, strengthening micro, small, and medium enterprises and strengthening the digital economy. Indonesia Syariah Economic Master Plan was created as a common guideline for the Syariah economic system. As the world's largest Muslim country, Indonesia is ready to be the world's leading Syariah economic center.
Organization of Islamic Cooperation, also known as OIC, is an international organization that serves as a forum of cooperation among Muslim countries in various fields, with health as one of them. Vaccines are necessary in preventing a variety of infectious disease and unexpected turns of events such as pandemic, while other biotechnology products are used for treatment of numerous non-communicable diseases. Indonesia has been entrusted as OIC Center of Excellence for Vaccines and Biotechnology Products in December 2017 during the 6th session of ICHM in Jeddah. Supporting the Center of Excellence is Bio Farma, with its long experience in vaccine manufacture, having research and development capabilities and facilities. The facilities are equipped with the latest technology and equipment to facilitate research and development activities that extends from lab all the way to the pilot scale production. Research and development covers upstream, downstream, and adaptive control quality process for the needs of new product development, whereas pilot scale production serves as an upscaling process prior to entering commercial scale production. Bio Farma has numerous WHO pre-qualified products, thus enabling supply to various countries through UNICEF, with more than 50 OIC countries among them. With competent resources, this Center of Excellence shall strive to address global health issues, particularly relating to vaccines and biotechnology product capacity building among OIC member states. Knowledge and technology sharing will enhance the autonomy of OIC's member states in producing high-quality vaccines and biotechnology products, thus contributing to the well-being of the global community. Indonesia is ready to carry the task as Center of Excellence with Bio Farma, among others, as a site for collaboration. Together with OIC and Indonesia, Bio Farma strives to innovate to produce new vaccines and biotechnology products for the benefit of mankind.
Indonesia is a country full of diversity with abundant natural and cultural wealth. It is home to the largest Muslim population in the world. As a country with the largest Muslim population in the world, Indonesia has great potential as well as challenges in developing a Sharia-based economic system. An economic system that focuses on the principles of justice and virtue in all of its processes. Justice and virtue for every party involved. A system that covers all aspects of people's lives, from industry to financial services and investment, from halal food and halal tourism to digital media, from halal pharmacy and cosmetics to Muslim fashion and more. The development of Islamic economy and finance has developed significantly in the last 2 decades and will continue to grow in line with the increasing Muslim population in the world. The KNEKS, or the National Committee for Islamic Economy and Finance, exists as a non-structural state strategic institution led directly by the President, serve as a mediator and catalyst in developing the Islamic economy in Indonesia. KNEKS is mandated to accelerate, expand, and advance the development of the Islamic economy to support national economic development. KNEKS, which was originally named KNKS, was a recommendation from the Master Plan for Indonesia Syariah Financial Architecture, formed through Presidential Regulation Number 91 of 2016, concerning the National Syariah Finance Committee, which later expanded its scope of work to become KNEKS through Presidential Decree Number 28 of 2020, concerning KNEKS. Having a vision to make Indonesia an independent, prosperous, and civilized Indonesia by becoming the world's leading Islamic economic center, KNEKS has four main strategies, namely strengthening halal value, strengthening Islamic finance, strengthening micro